อยากให้ไฟแดงนานกว่านี้เนาะ
ระดับหนึ่งเลยแหละการแข่งขันระดับ
บูมใจได้ค่ายมาไล่ให้หมด
เองพวกเขาก็ทำได้
สำหรับผู้ชมที่ชมอยู่ตอนนี้นะครับอย่าลืมกดไลค์กด Subscribe Channel ให้ด้วยนะครับและติดตามการสตรีมของผมได้ที่ sooflight.com ครับลิงก์อยู่ด้านล่างครับ
things from him on the jet, for example, it's just that the waylay.
มาแล้วครับทีมขวัญใจมหาชนคนไทยณยุคนี้
And he does. I mean,
ใครเห็นก็ว่าชนะ
must be real. It's true. Well, Hamquack.
TALON
This is Nongshim versus Talon right on towards Haven, where Nongshim starts out on the attack. Recon, where's that going? At least a little bit more information outside A long, but towards the back of B site. Took a while to get there. Nongshim poking just somewhat, but then to hover around the edge of this dark cover. A bit of a trade going through. Cheeky, not gonna lie, but the trades do favor Talon at the moment. Looking for some more, and that'll bring a bit of stability, won't it, Quack? Kind of a collateral as well. Does bring things down to a 1-on-2 where Primi is low, but does still have kind of the double tap shield going off. Jit Boys though, with the crunch, trying to push his way up mid. There was timing though, if Ivy did choose to take the duel against Primi, break the shield, get the shot, it would be a 1 versus 1. But he hasn't seen where Jit Boys was playing whatsoever yet, so it really just does come down to a little bit of luck. And what corners he kind of just wants to disregard here. Just a bunch up together.
มันต้องไม่ใช่หนองชิมเว้ย
He goes in for the goes back and forth and even takes Mate, I just got Icebox vibes from him again, playing around yellow, where he's done kind of the same thing on the pistol round when he's come out with the 4K, right? Again, just another. Well, like I think that's a well-orchestrated idea from Talon. Don't get me wrong, it's a 2 versus 1. You're playing together, double peeking it out, but Primi, I mean, he wasn't even the first intended target. He's just missed his shots there. And that's also just incredible mechanical skill.
ไอ้นั่นทีมสภาพเดิม
Who has 4 on the board from
ใจเย็นนี่หนองชาย
Talon. Not backing down. You've got
ไอ้เว้ยมึงเห็นมันยิงไม่ได้ไอ้สัตว์
dancing with danger
ส
around
ภาพเดิมเว้ยแม่งเอาแล้ว
Yep, gotta be careful.
แล้วถ้าแม่งชนะนะไอ้เหี้ยลิ้น3แฉก
crossfire and you only have the marshal. But if you do it just like that, yeah, not too bad.
User was joined to your channel.
So at least able to regain some control, Nongshim. I mean, the entire game plan for Talon, especially with the double duelist, is to continue to find more. And the biggest thing with Talon at the moment is good ideas, right? Something that we heard of earlier and questioned about their ascent play. This
ลาว
is
เดียวแม่งก็เอากันแล้วอ่ะไม่ต้องห่วง
patience
ครับ
from
พวกนี้มัน
Nongshim.
ขึ้นกันง่ายครับ
Okay, not spotted right now either.
อย่าห้ามพี่น้องพวกเนี้ย
Aside for Jit Boys up towards C long. Well, you did. Now it's all down to the
ไอ้พวกนี้
timing
มัน
when
เป็
you're
นพวก
going
แบ
to
บ
hear the rotations eventually,
ต้อง
and
เพอร์เฟกต์
Margaret's kind of
เพอ
just
ร์เฟกชัน
lurking
นี้กัน
up.
เหรอ
Past tense, Margaret lurking back,
สั
might
ตว์เกลียด
be
ที่นอน
able
หมด
to
ไอ้เหี้ย
flank Talon as well. It is a pistol after all, but currently just positionally, Nongshim able to run circles around Talon. Slight collat does tag
ขอแบบเดียวเว้ยฮารอนแพ้เรื่องมึง
looking for the repeat as well. Wow, he knows that.
ได้เชียร์แค่แบบเดียว
ชอบเชียร์แบบเดียวเดี๋ยวเหนื่อย
Gets away.
ต้องใช้แรงเยอะ
เชียร์แบบไหนวะเชียร์แบบเดียวเฮ้ยแปลกว่ะ
อ้าวใช้เสียงไงในการเชียร์เยอะ
Secret team that we did have for Talon, right? Team Secret did pick up that pistol and then they answered back with force up and managed to find it. So for this time, at least in the beginning stages, right? It was the changing of sides and Talon was on attack, but
เอ้ยพิมมี่ช่วงนี้เองเงียบๆไปนะเว้ยไม่ค่อยถูกใจบูมจับเลยคือเงียบมากเลยสำหรับพิมมี่เอาหน่อยอย่าแผ่ว
and Talon are going to look to bring up some weaponry. And look at this, Ivy in round 3, 1 away from the Hunter Sphere already as well.
เสียงหายใจก็รู้
And
แล้ว
that's
ว่า
going to
เท่
be pretty cheeky if he's able to find that one. Not going to lie, you're not going to have too much of an answer on the side of Talon if that's able to find, you know, one of the bolts or albeit a kill. So you want to see some sort of Talon. I think more importantly for me, I want to see some stability if they're getting some opening kills. I want to see how they're going to be fashioning Primi and Killua around on these double duelists as well. You did mention a little bit before we started the game as well that Francis is now on the tail.
อุ้ยทีมเอาแม่นขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอ
I say usually last time on the breach, but with the new
you know,
ไปยืนทำอะไรบนนั้น
through and this new
อย่า
style from him and just the fact that Teo's in the game, it's not a bad idea to be playing for him. And Francis, I mean, pretty proficient on the Teo.
And right now, just playing it safe around C, does have the stealth drone, and with it being shot down by Primi, he has some information to work off of. At the same time, though, the rest was
ทำ
Nongshim
ไมไม่เอา
pushing towards this B site, but
ไปแล้วหนึ่ง
just a bit of a ruse.
แม่นๆ
We're going B in towards
1-0 หนองชิม
just stuck and trapped inside this little cubby position
They know as
while
well.
Jim tries to creep up around from the back. Primi able to gun down the first, and he's happy to take some duels, but Nongshim knows better than that to give him the 1v1s. They are looking for that 2v1. Now, Jit Boys has to create a little bit more space, not quite able to do that. It's Nongshim picking up the bonus.
Really nice ideas from them as well, right? When you're going up for a little bit of this garage stall, you've got a great paranoia on towards the seaside as well to off-put your opposition Sova. You see Danby opening up on towards Cruz as well, and he just make it a little bit awkward. Margaret, I've always been, you know, a big fan of this guy, but the way that he's able to just slip the net a lot of the times, I think he's only going to improve in his little lurk roles, specifically on a map like Haven. You're going to always kind of question where is he going to be around the map. More importantly here, Quack, that's the bonus round going Nongshim's way.
Outlaw now being purchased up as well by Margaret. Nongshim are happy to play out the pace. A point of discussion that we had from before as well was that Talon, whilst having, you know, some of the optimal agent compositions that they're looking for, kind of, you know, go off towards, you know, other portions of the map sometimes, not knowing how to pilot these compositions optimally.
A bit of a disconnection between what you would assume to be an agent of 5, you know, strengths versus weaknesses.
That was last
how you want to
week.
play towards their strengths.
We'll see if they've kind of read up more from their drawing board.
Yeah, well,
Since it's been a week against that game against RQ.
yeah, that's it, right? You'd have a week to kind of, you know, voice your ideas as a team and what you want to do, have your coach's input as well.
Jovi and Frost,
Take flight.
known to be very impactful coaches, but currently right now just off to the pistols. Talon going for the stack.
Yeah, and they're going to see no one's home as well, and eventually that trap wire is going to be destroyed, and you've already got 2 people. Maybe you can make it 3 as well. Watching for the flank doesn't really matter. Margaret's just going to delete them with the Outlaw. He'll farm up towards his own ultimate, and now it's anyone's guess as, yeah, where's Jet Boys coming from, huh?
Yeah, I know it's just a pistol, but still, the fact that it was kind of Galad as well, 2 shots both fired off, that was pretty darn lovely. Just Jit Boys left, low HP, kind of know where he is.
โอ้
Build up
ย
towards
4-0
these alt
ไป
points.
แล้ว
Staying ahead of the game.
โอ้ครับ
but-
มาแล้วครับ
Yeah.
ผิดบอยเปิด
Clear
เฟิร์สบัตรได้ของตัวเอง
Maybe they should have given him a sprayable gun for a close quarters duel. It doesn't matter. He still gets an ult port technically and losing his life.
มาอย่าหาเยอะอย่าหาเยอะพอละเลิกหาได้ละ
Side of Nongshim, so it's A-OK.
โอ้ยเหี้ย
This
มากา
time,
เล็
more
ดอะไรวะ
importantly,
หน้า
though,
2 นัด
we're going to
3
see
ตัวฮะ
Talon back to answer with the
มากาเล็ด
weaponry
ครับ
and
2 นัด
hopefully
3 ตั
able
ว
to fashion up an idea on their
แดมบี
defensive
นี
side.
อ
We're
อน
seeing
มันไม่เล่น
Nongshim
และ
already
เว
playing
เล
a little bit of the pivot timing, grouping up
อย่างนี้
together.
จบดิ
Operator out
มึ
for
งไม่เล่นเว
killer
เล
as
วะ
well. That'll be positioned more towards the A
หิน
side
ร
of
วย
things. If he's able to get
Operator
on the sewers line and gate crash out of there.
We'll see.
I like that smoke as well. Makes things quite sticky for Killua.
But one thing we can point out at the same time is how Nongshim
เฮ้ย
are
แม่นๆหน่อยลุงทีม
carefully dissecting their way across the map.
Yep. Problem is though, they are a team that does like to
อุ้ย
gather
ต้อง
this
เงยหน้าด้วย ต้องเงย
garage
หน้าด้วย
control.
เพื่ออะไรวะ
Difference now from the breach is on the Teo. Francis can lead with the drone and try
Fat.
to sniff something out for the
ดี
team. They're not going to be able
ดี
to
มันยัง
find
ยึดไม่ได้
space, of course, but they are going to be able to spot out 2 players
เจ็บ
there. So
มากา
it
เล็ด
gives
เจ็
you
บ
a bit of an idea as Nongshim on where you want to transition at the minimark.
Yeah, taking some time to bait out
โอ้ยเหี้ยมาหาบอสพิมพ์
paranoia as well. So
พลาดแล้วครับมาหาบอส
that
พิ
could
มพ์
alleviate some
โอ้แล้วไม่ได้
pressure.
ข่าวด้วย
Nongshim
คิดว่า
then
ได้ข่าว A
regroups back
ขาด
in C.
And salvos are online as well now for Francis, so they're going to be able to
มี
go
โดน
and do
มี
one
ลี
of
คอน
their
นะ
true tried, tested,
มีโดนมีลีคอน
safe
ช่วยหน่อยช่วยหน่อย
them to be playing in their scrimmage.
ช่วยลีคอนมาปัก
Salvo's already away.
ไม่มีใครเล่นกับลีคอน
Fast lane as well. Cruz
โอ้ย
and tries to play
หลบหน่อย
into position.
พิมมี่
But
เอา
here comes
เอา
that
เข้ามา
kill
ตัวหนึ่ง
contract
พิ
as
มมี่
well. Primi trying to create a little bit more of an advantage for his team, but falls to Danby.
Yep, and remember, Margaret is on the lurk up the guts of mid right now.
GG ว่ะ
Still lurking. Meanwhile, remaining Talon players trying to regroup. thought about maybe using the position around
ไอ้
Garage.
เหี้ยเอ้ยแพ้แล้ว
You, of course, still have Killa on this off.
Yeah, but Margaret is keeping Killua in check.
Yeah, that's why Killa's kind of backing off as well. Feeling like the call to a
มองไปที่แมป
save,
2
Talon trying to head back to a safer position, but not
แบบ
expecting
ไว
Ivy to be around
ไป
grass.
จ้ะ
Good little trade from Thai. Now,
ตาย
where's Margaret slipped to?
ตาย
Wondering about it. You hear some footsteps as well.
โดนมีดไปเนี่ย
Stay disciplined so as to not peek.
โอ้ตาย
Quad. As
ตายเอา
Francis
จัด
falls. Still, nonetheless, a
เฮ้ย
good
พีก
little
เฮ้ย
round for
เฮ้ย
Nongshim, but an ace picked up post round by Thai.
ตายไม่ใช่นะเว้ยช็อตแบบเนี้ย
Really matter in the grand scheme of things.
ไม่เฟี้ยวนะเว้ยเอ็ดอ่ะบอก
There's
ให้
enough economy on the side of Nongshim that's
เฉยๆเฉยๆเฉยๆช็อตแบบนี้
even if they win the next round, right?
คือตายต้องหนีนะถ้าตามเกมอ่ะ
It would
เอ็ด
matter
ไม่ได้มีผลนะ
for a bit of a morale boost.
Yeah, for
ถ้าเมื่อกี้
sure.
ตาย
I mean,
ตาย
he's
ก็จะ
had a little
นะครับ
bit of
ผมบอกเลยชุดใหญ่
I don't say fall off or anything like that, but a rougher series last time compared to the first one, right? Where him and Killua really came out guns blazing.
เอาความมั่นใจ
some coach
เยี่ย
intervention this
มัน
time
แพ้แล้ว
in the 5-0.
ขึ้นเวทีมาไม่มีความมั่นใจ
You know, been playing pretty full.
สตรีนมาตามหาตอนแข่งความมั่นใจ
play with some rotates, some
แพ้
good
ละ
layering
นะ
and
50
utility.
นั่นแหละ
100%.
ตามหาความมั่นใจ
That's
ก่อน
just Nongshim playing their composition now, especially now that they have this Teho in play.
I think more importantly, especially that we don't have a waylay in play.
Another great point, Komodo. This is
มองไปที่
why you
2-0
are
ใจเย็น
my co-caster.
อย่า
But at
พูด
the
อย่าง
same
นั้น
time, yeah, you know, taking a
แม
look
ป
at
นี้
how
เสียได้
Talon,
แม
it's
ป
not
หน้า
as
ห้าม
though we
เสีย
can really fault Talon for how they're trying to play around the back room.
man,
They had
that's-
positions
หน้า
in
ก็เสีย
place,
ได้
especially
เหมือน
around
กัน
Garage. They reacted in kind. They
โดน
threw
เลย
out the
โดนกูเลย
paranoia, but
แม่ง
Nongshim
โดน
just
กูเลยอะ
negated all of that. So needing an
โดนแน่
extra layer to come into
แม่งโด
play
นกูเลยอะ
to get some reads, hard good reads against Nongshim and how they're trying to pilot this composition. We've seen the B hits, the garage pressure, and off the timeout now Nongshim all of a sudden
Yeah.
trying to go back with the stack in towards A. Op being pulled out by Killua.
He's on the line, but you do already have a bit of a cross from Persia rather, and it'll be first casualty.
Yeah, first elimination does
มาแล้วเว้ยเราแรก
safety as well. Then you've got the duo
Chat.
of Primi and Cruz to both block down Sewer.
Difference this time for
1-0
Nongshim, 2 individual peaks with no
คม
potential.
เอ้ย
to
กล้อง
So if that's an opportunity for Talon to capitalize, you would hope to see that, well...
โอ้ไม่มีผัดกะเพราให้กินใช่ไหมมึงเลยอาการออกอ่ะ
That's right.
A little bit more on that if they're gifted it.
Flash and jump peek. Meanwhile,
เอา
you've
แล้ว
got
เอาแล้ว
Margaret
ยิงอยู่
still
ยิงไป
on
ยิงอยู่
alert,
ยิงไป
expecting, trying to look if someone would, you know.
And if you can get into C, it's good, but you're already seeing Talon adjust to play a retake over there if they do need to.
That's
ขอ
I like the idea, right? It's 5
เอาละ
versus
เอาละ
3,
เอาละเอาละ
dimensional drift if you do need.
At the same time, yeah, you know, he's holding these positions, hoping to see if someone would push into his crosshairs so that he can
ปล่อยดี
find
เทคปล่อยดีเทคไปเลย
the
ปล่อยดีเทคไปเลย
punish,
ตาย
find
ตาย
the
อยาตายตายอยาตาย
Talon
เอ
are
อ
playing it
นั่นแหละ
safe. This is once again what you're seeing off
มี
of
ควัน
the
มี
coach
แฟด
timeouts,
ชิว
which
ๆ
is
ดีเทค
very lovely
ชิ
sight.
ว
Talon now regrouping all in full round spawn.
So the 5 versus 3,
ลุมกระทืบมัน
sending Killer with the
เออ
dimensional
นั่นแหละ
drift. You do, Cruz has been gifted
นั่น
as
แหละ
the
นั่นแหละ
operator
นั่
in
นแหละ
this one.
นั่นแหละ
So
นั่นแหละนั่นแหละ
let's
มี
see if
แถ
he
บ
can get up lurk
บีไม่ต้อง
or
กลัว
if Talon can get this retake.
ส
Looked
ว
around
ย
the wrong time. It's going to be Shit Boys who takes him down first. And here comes
Perfect
the
จริงๆครับ
Euro utility. Francis, though, able to withstand it somewhat until Primi comes in with a triple
เฮ้ย
of
พิม
his
พ์ไม่ยิ้ม
own.
พิมพ์ไม่ยิ้ม
And that's
สวย
going to
แล้
be
ว
the
พิมพ์ไม่ยิ้
first
ม
round picked up after 5
ไม่ยิ้ม
by
แล้วครับ
Talon.
Nicely done. Nicely done from them. They do not falter when the first kill and the second kill is found. There's a couple of traits that go around the seaside there, but it's just, you know, back onto what's going to be a successful win condition, right? Play on the back of that dimensional drift, sniff out all the information, get your team
ไข่ดาว
kills
เป็ด
where
เยิ้ม
needed.
เยิ้
Bit
ม
of extra utility is always going to be a
ไข่ดาว
helpful
เป็ด
thing
นี่
as
คือ
well.
ไม่ได้กินเลยนะ
The desk was kind of wondering, though, you know, why the
ปกติที่บ้านจะซื้อไข่ดาวเป็ด
selected,
นะ
seeing how, you know, Nongshim kind of didn't really pick it at first, but
นี่
it's not quite the scoreline that we
โด
were
นใบยิงหัว
anticipating.
กูนะ ใครวะ
No, not at all. You know, whether you call it jitters or just, you know, not a good idea at the very beginning. Nongshim, I mean, I don't think they would have expected Haven to come on out, you know, or maybe they did, right? Because they had been banning it
ตาย
and
ไง
they leave it
ร้อง
open.
แงะ
You
ร้อง
know, you're always going to have those sort of ideas that we can ramble on.
Hey, 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 hey,
You
ถือ
know,
ปืน
this
ถือปืน
is a problem for Nongshim because Killua is getting on a very
โอ้
powerful
ปืน
operator
โผล่
line.
โอ้โหไปดิสวย เอาไม่ได้เจ็ดเอาไม่ได้เพียงไงต้องงั้นน้องต้องงั้น
removes the trap wire that was in garage, but it's kind of all for naught now because there's no space that
เข้ามาเข้าเลย
Try as they might, Nongshim, they have been shut off a lot of these entryways.
เล่นรีเทคได้นะ53อ่ะเหมือนเดิมตามสูตรเฮ้ยยี่เปอร์เซียนว่า
Trying
ยี่หยุ
to
ด
at
ไอ้สัส
least gets the smokes out, maybe to reposition and find a pick. But as Margaret continues to lurk, he gets spotted out by Cruz.
And immediately
เขา
going to
ชื่อ
be
มืดเหรอ
droning out for
ใน
some
ไว
further
คอม
information
ไม่ได้
as
ชื่อ
well.
มืด
So
ครับ
Talon are playing towards the time.
น่าจะเป็น
In a situation like this,
AKA
they
ครับ
don't necessarily
เพื่อน
need
ๆเรีย
to
กกัน
take any risks and go
เหมือนใน
deep
นี้ก็
up,
ชื่อหมู
though. As I say that, Cruz starts to do so.
คมจัด
Does have
ไอ้
pretty
เชี่ย
behind
ไม่ได้
him.
ดูชื่อนี่ยังไงก็พิมพ์มี่นะช็อต
Confidence
จิก
as
ๆอ่ะ
well for the
เฮ้ย
captain of Talon.
เออ
Unfortunately
เริ่มแล้ว
falls by Persia's hands. But thankfully, you have teammates enough around the site as well. So 15 seconds
อุ้ย
left
มา
now.
แวบเดียวเท่านั้นแหละ
Continuing to push past. You got Primi inside of the smoke. He hears the tap, looking for his
ไอ้หนึ่ง
opportunity.
เวลา
Springs. The trade found by France. Of course, the round already picked up by Talon, but can they get more kills? Thai will deliver.
Able to double down on this one now. Again, another good pass mark for Talon. On the back of finding some opening kills that it's not really any big
ชนะ
exchanges
เพื่อนชนะ
on,
เรา
right?
ใจ
You've got
เย็น
the operator
ได้
pushing down when you have the camera to find the
5-2
first
แล้ว
little
5-2 แล้ว
contact
ค่อย
of
ๆขึ้นมา
info. Ambi tries to answer back in kind pretty swiftly, but is shut down as quickly as
โอ้นั่งขาตายเลยอ่ะ
and
ลุง
it
อ่ะ
just leaves not enough for Nongshim at the tail end of that in the 3 versus 5 deficit to bring it back. So wouldn't be surprised if they want to try and get something a little bit quicker happening now that they've got the overdrive, now they've got the Armageddon. You can see that the setup around C is a little bit more of the passive nature.
Oh, he's waiting for a bit more of a towel from Nongshim.
This is a very powerful drone at the moment to sniff out a lot from Francis, because that essentially clears everything that they're not there. They don't even need to invest the Armageddon. Cruz has control of the site.
ติดแท็บดิติดแท็บดิ
Camera's still available too, by the way.
Yeah, still staying hidden, tucked away. Smoke dissipates and
ต้องมาทาง G เอ้ยทุยทาง G ผีที่อะไรนั่นผิด
โอ้
แล้ว
in with the kill contract.
Yet, man.
Primi missed his mark the first time.
Thằng
Will
retake.
he deliver this time?
โว้ย
Instant flip.
1-1 เว้ย
Look, there's
Still though, Margaret instantly deletes Cruz. No more Hunters Fury available.
But there is an Armageddon and salvos for Francis. You have to remove these.
So needing to push further up into
อยู่ขวานเป้าตายขวานหน่อยตาย
to send out the convergent shield just to provide
เอาครึ่งครับ
teammates with additional
โอ้โห
cover.
แล้วก็ไม่เอาครึ่ง
Faded
ด้วย
out,
ครับ
tapped
ออก
onto
ก่อน
the spike. Looking to retap,
Yeah,
and
la-
that's when
yeah, la-
Francis
yeah,
spams
la.
away with the Guardian. Killua comes for the trades.
Yeah,
More trades going through, but
yeah,
Margaret
la.
collects on all of these heads, and Nongshim will be able to pick up
โอ้
another
ช็อต
round
เมื่อ
for
กี้
their
ต่าย
belt.
หน้าเอาครึ่ง
At the
นะ
end
เว้ย
there,
ทัน
not
ปะวะ
sure if anyone's actually able to beyond the spike after it is tapped.
แต่ไม่รู้ว่าเป็นกูเอาครึ่งแล้ว
You know,
ด้วย
you're
สัญ
never
ชา
gonna
ต
know
ญาณ
if they
ขอ
are
ง
body blocking
นั
or
ก
not.
สู้
So
อะ
the idea to just
ครึ่งไว้เพื่อน
take those
ตะ
fights.
โกนไป
They've
เล
got
ย
the numbers there, and they've thrown Talon a little bit of a spanner in the works there. Nicely done though from Primi in the ult at least. I think you'll take that away, that he's going to be winning those ones hopefully more than last time.
Fair enough.
But it's back, you know, to steady the ship on the side for Nongshim.
Yeah, it was somewhat of an expensive round having spent the Armageddon, but still you can feel its effect. Next round coming up though, once again, we have Killua with the op.
Yeah, and this is a bit of a different look as well. Margaret had caged the previous round. This time they're going to dark cover for the silent creep up. There was a camera though, down in sewers, and Primi is at the top of it.
Yeah, because it's a dark cover, you
แล้วมาหา
can
พิมมี่มึง
possibly
ซวยไร
anticipate
สั
more
ตว์
than one player.
พิมมี่ลังแซบ
Cruz
พิม
will
มี่ลัง
send
แซบ
in the Hunter's Fury to check, does get
ส
away
วย
with
คอม
one
โบเกาะ
kill.
แตก
Killua with
เกาะ
an
แตกอัน
offshot
ติ
as well.
พิมมี่ลังแซบ
Spike has been dropped
โอ้
around
โห
Sewer,
ยังหนึ่งยัง
where
ได้มาหนึ่ง
Persia does find a bit
แล้ว
of
คิน
break.
รัว
Killua
มา
trades
แล้วค
right
รับ
back.
ไหล
Just
มา
Francis
แล้ว
left.
ตาลอนไหล
Might
มา
have the
แล้
spike,
ว
but he's up against 4.
A situation where Talon find themselves for, albeit a moment, a small moment, a 3 versus 5.
พลิก
Opening
มาเลยทีม
going their way. So
มั่นใจน้อง
they haven't dropped these yet. I don't expect this one to really be.
มั่นใจ มั่นใจ
You play one
มั่น
versus
ใจ
four, right? You just play on the back of where Francis gives you the information.
เอ้ยยิงอ่ะ
What's it going to be,
ยิงอ่ะ
Francis?
ยิง
Doesn't go
โอ้
for
ย
the
เย็น
tap.
ก็เล่นละเอียดเกิน
You certainly don't want to head back too much because players
นั่นแหละ
have set themselves up behind as well. So
กระโดด
for the tap now, is going to be met with the paranoia and shock darts, both of them.
And a drone.
Drone spotted out, tries to go in for a cheeky peek down in towards Link, but shot down by Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way that you're going to be able to win this when you've got the dart available, you've got the op line being held from spawn as well, you've got the paranoia at the ready, some shock darts, you're kind of being thrown everything your way. Good start from them, as I mentioned, the 3 versus 5, so these sort of opening engagements, right, you kind of want to reel in a little bit as
คิดดูนะ
Nongshim
คมนะ
might
ช็อต
give
เนี้ย
you a little bit more value if you're droning early on to clear some forward lines first.
เฮียเอ้ย
You know,
โดน
if
ไป
you wanted to go to this
5-0 ดีนะ
A-side,
อุ้ย
for example,
6-4 นะ
down sewers, droning
เฮ้ย
down
ราวนี้
right, push them off
ต้องได้นะเว้ย
towards mid, you know, you're not
ไม่ได้นี่
necessarily going to want to all
อู้
run out in towards
อู้
what
ตรง
now
กลางนี่อะไรครับเนี่ย
the operator holding the line for Killer.
มาดิเฮ้ยเฮียแล้ว
Alright,
เฮียแล้ว
but
ตาย
still
หนึ่ง
that it is Nongshim on a bit of a half buy
อุ้ย
with
รู้
the shares
รู้
in
รู้
play.
มันเอาเพื่อนมาซ้อนเว้ย มันรู้ มันรู้ มัน
Very
รู้
quickly with the utility from
รู้
Talon.
ไว้
Second shot through and that
เฮีย
finds
กล้องโกด
the spot. Francis's head blown clean off, and now 3 players left to pick up the pieces.
So it's another 3 versus 5.
And it just shows Talon playing a cerebral game of reading how Nongshim wants to work their way across the map. Initially, you know, previous
โอ้ย
sites.
ปล่อยรีเทค
this
อีกแล้วครับ
time,
แหม่
slight
เนี้ย
rush
จริงๆ
towards
ทารอน
B, and it's quickly dealt
คน
with.
เยอะกว่า
I mean,
ได้
these
เปรียบ
sort of situations,
รีเทคดีกว่า
it should be
อย่าไปโดนเขาตัดใน
bread and
ไซส์
butter
คน
at the
เดียว
moment, right?
นี่
It should
ฮะ
just be 3 versus 5.
อย่างนี้ชนะแน่ราวนี้100 ล้านเปอร์เซ็นต์
We've got the numbers. We're in another situation where
ปิด
we've
ป
got
ระ
a
ตูแพ้ไป
dimensional
แล้
drift. We
ว
absolutely can use it here to try and 100% the remainder of this round.
แล้วมีอันติขี้รัวด้วย ถ้าจะให้ดีใช้ไปเลยขี้รัวอย่ากักอย่ากัก คนมีอย่ากัก
Recon
คนมีอย่ากัก
made the retake as well.
คนมีอย่ากัก
Still though,
เอ้ย
players from Nongshim
นั่นแหละ คนมีอย่ากัก
trying to peek through, but the
สวย
dimensional drift definitely forces them
ส
to
วย
disperse so darn much.
เฮ้ยตายแล้วมั้งโอ้ยมีคนตี
As well, Cruz with the op does find one, and then the entire squad marches into sight, taking names and just kicking everyone's butt. And that's going to be Talon, slowly but surely climbing their way back up to a 6.
If there was a world in which there was a gun available for Nongshim and that reveal comes out and Margaret, you know,
ดีแล้ว
might
ดี
be
แล้ว
on the right
ถือว่า
line
เยี่ยม
with
ครับ
the sheriff,
เอาเมื่อ
not
กี้
being
เมื่อกี้
reloaded,
ลุงยิงไป
you
1
know,
นะ
there's
ส
a
ไล
lot
ด์
of
ที่เร็ว
damage,
สุดใน
but
ยุค
we're not
นี้
in that world, unfortunately.
กดไป 1 นะเมื่อกี้
And
อยู่บนเฮเว่น
Talon
ไม่มีใครเห็น
starting to get this idea on the
แต่กด
defensive
1 นะ
side on how they want to navigate it, right? We
นี่
haven't
ดู
really seen
ดู
good success so
ดู
far this split from
ดู
Talon
ดู
when
สัก
they're
ก่อน
starting
ก
off
ด
on
หัว
the
ด้วย
defensive side and how they're
เอาเฮ้ย
converting that into a win, right? It's been pretty abysmal
อะไร
for
วะ
them.
เนี่ย
So
กล้อง
at least here they're making it challenging and forcing out some timeouts, forcing out some discussions. 6-4, still not a bad scoreline when you consider for Nongshim, and on their attacking side, right, it was the 8-4 half that they had against Zeta once upon a time over in kickoffs.
Yeah, that's a while back.
I say once upon a time because
เล็งอยู่3 วัน
you
ครึ่ง
know,
อ้าว
albeit
ไอ้เหี้ยโดนยัง
it's
ไม่
a
พอ
while
ใจอีก
ago,
ต้องเร็ว
it is
ด้วย
four same agents, right? Slight difference when you consider
ขนาด
Francis
ยิงโดนนะยังโดนอ่ะ
onto
ยังโดน
the
โดน
KO,
โดนแซะโดนแขวะ
play that quite similarly.
กูเป็นใน
But
ทีม
that's
กู
where
อ
I
อก
do
ทีมแล้ว
wonder,
ไอ้
you
เหี้ย
know, you do have more options as well. You know,
เขียนเหตุผล
comparable
ด้วย
to a
เบื่อ
Breach
แชท
for
ปาก
sure,
ดี
but currently the recurring theme of today's games has been early optics or early op presence. Now we're seeing that in the form of Killua. Nongshim needing to carve out a solution to, you know, either push him off of his sight lines or find a way to get a pinch onto him.
And that's something that these drones are going to be able to do, right? The stealth drone, the owl drone. So I'm a little bit surprised that we're not seeing that invested a bit more in the early stages for them to try and find the, well, find where the operator is or is not. This is going to be a big round in terms of the ult economy, though. We've got 4 available for Nongshim.
6-4 ฮะ
And this sort of time, when there's 2
ดูดี
rounds
เลย
left in the
6-4
half,
ดูดีเลย
you know,
75
towards it.
น่า
They can find
75
Back into
75 นี่คือสวยละ
have themselves
ไม่ต้อง
already
อะไร
set
มา
out
ก
to
มาย
deal with,
75
you know, Killua, if he is
บอ
holding
ต้องอย่าง
a
มาก
wall,
มาย
but
เลย
if
ครับ
he is not, this
ไม่
time
ได้แม่ง
he's
มาหา
over
จิต
on
บอย
C.
จอยบีด
2 drones really early on, clears
Boy
all
Joy
of
Beat
your
เพิ่งเปลี่ยน
pathing,
มา
ready to do a you know, big
มึงเสร็จ
explosion in
มึง
towards
เสร็
the
จ
site. Though, for Danby, his signature of kind of sprinting on in and sliding down,
Boy Joy Beat
those traps would
Ama.
shut that down. Plant
เฮ้ย
established.
เฮ้ยวางแล้วเว้ย
To be seen, a secondary trip as well.
5 versus 5 retake.
And you also have Primi
ยังมี
with
แท็บอยู่อันนึงนะ
another kill contract. Needs to find the right spot for it though. Currently just Jit Boys to find some information with a peek out.
นี่แทบ
And here comes that kill contract.
โอ้ย
With the burst as
ไอ้นี่
well.
แซบใหญ่แล้วว่ะ
Takes him down instead, and here comes Danby with the overdrive, continuing to laser his way through, preventing Talon from jumping down. Cruz can't find any space. The rest of the team trying to break their way through a link, but simple peeks out from Danby. Cruz now continuing to jiggle, but the burst again from
75
Margaret.
75
And with that,
ขออีกหนึ่งขออีกหนึ่ง
Nongshim
ขออีกหนึ่ง
able
ขออีกหนึ่
to
ง
collect the site and moves
ขออี
forward
กหนึ่งขอ
onto
อีก
a
หนึ่งขออีก
7.
หนึ่งขออีกหนึ่ง
Yeah, if they've got all their key components available to play around the side as well, right? Makes it a little bit more difficult for Talon to establish a really good retake. They've been successful in using this dimensional drift, playing on the back of these 5 versus 3s. So the difference is when we're not seeing these 5 versus 3s and we're seeing the early drones clear all of the space that they need to, getting in toward the site relatively silently. They do have the key numbers to be able to just focus on these duels, let Danby do what Danby does best and try and jiggle around the side,
อุ้ยโอ้โห
get all the
แม่ง
shots,
บัฟแรง
everyone
จั
watches
ด
their lines, nicely done.
If I may though,
แม่ง
Conan,
บอก
I'm
พิม
also
มี่
a
เนี่ย
little
ว่า
bit
พิมมี่ที่ว่า
concerned.
เก่งที่
We've
สุดใน
seen
ไทย
Primi whiff 2 of his kill contracts
โอ้โห
now.
Yes.
He's been a little bit quiet since kickoffs.
แม่งเอาแรงแม่งเอาแร
Is
ง
that fair?
That's fair. I mean,
เมื่อกี้มัน
there's
เข้า
always
ไป
an
ยิงไง
adjustment
เมื่อกี้มัน
period
เข้า
for
ไป
a
ยิง
team
มา
when
ใน
you
ใน
change
Dimension
two
League
players and you put him back onto a
ไม่
role
ใช่
that we're kind of expecting him to
contact
flourish in. There is, you know, a lot on his shoulders on this roster.
ฉุนนะฉุนนะ
He does sound a lot more comfortable if you pay
Ibon
attention to
Pema,
the mic check videos that have been posted up. But still, right now at least, Nongshim looking to pull off an A-split push in towards the site. Talon reading a lot of the utility, have rotated on over, but can they hold it? Cruz able to spray them down.
75 ตามนัด Perfect
with a flawless pick.
ตามนัดตามนัด
As we've learned from
ไม่แย่ไม่แย่เลยไม่แย่เลยไม่แย่เลยต้องไปดูอันนี้
Side
ฮะ
with
จริง
the drones as well. So Salvos
อ้าว
to flush Talon out of position, but
ทำไมกู
currently
เห็นอยู่คนเดียว
Talon
อะ
trying to launch their own assault. Slow creep up C.
Yeah, dart or drone needs to be pretty timed here for Cruz, but it's going to be the dart potentially. There's
เอาใหม่เอาใหม่ให้ดูใหม่
look at that. That essentially stops.
ไปครับไปครับไปครับไปเอ้า แล้วทำไมกูเห็นอยู่คนเดียววะ
Yeah,
Oh,
well, it's just
yeah.
a flash, but the fact that you have everyone ready to
Yeah,
peek
yeah,
off
yeah,
of
yeah,
contact.
And Francis has just confirmed over at the A site with that drone that no one is an immediate threat to, right? So this
Ow,
does present time in the
Pimmy!
round for them to have a couple of eyes around the map, see what info they can communicate towards the team, and what becomes
กลับ
weak.
มาพี่มี่ไปแล้ว
It's just so darn useful with how you're able to make use of this tail, right? Already painting a picture of how the map is currently positioned by Talon. And that's why you have this secondary smoke coming out towards Elong.
Footsteps heard at the A site right now from Jip Boys that they might be falling back, so he's got a bit of time here calling for the team to rotate on over. And if that is the correct call at the moment from what we're seeing in the movements on the radar, it is the right call, right? Talon could find the timing to get in towards this site. They've still got smokes available for Die. That would off-put Francis.
And Francis also sitting on those salvos as well.
20 seconds. So you got the idea now, with that smoke, you're going to play to try and stop the spike from going down. And that's what it does. 15 seconds, it'll be okay for Cruz to get the plant, and we'll go into a 5...
โอ้ยโดนยิงหัวอีก
They could flood now.
โอ้ my กุสเนตอุ้ยแล้วลงมาเลยครับ แล้วจะเร็วๆเรียบร้อยแย่แล้ว โอ้โห
Finds a triple in this pistol. That's 2 pistol rounds where Nongshim have found
วางแบบ
kills.
That is
โลกไปนิดนึง
a
ป่ะ
sensational
นิด
kill
นึง
that
นิดนึง
Francis has actually managed to find, because that goes into what would be a 5 versus 4.
ต้องวาง
plan
เซฟกว่านี้หน่อย
established, a little bit of
ไอ้
time
เหี้ยนั่นแม่ง
for
สแปม
Talon to
โดนอี
breathe
กไอ้
before
สัตว์
Nongshim go in for the full retake, right? The fact that that kill gets found, they can just immediately flood on in when someone is still in a non-fightable situation when they're planting the spike, scurrying to get out of that one. You can see Jip Boys didn't even get the spike, his gun back up, right? So that's how awkward and how great that one kill that Francis finds becomes.
And Dambi right on cue as well. That is just beautiful. Next round coming up, it's going to be a bit of a forced buyout from Talon.
Risky, but a big reward if they're going to be able to find it.
They're up against a full buy though. It's
แล้วฟอร์สอีกอะมาอีกแล้วครับมาอีกแล้วมาอีกแล้วมาอีก
Bulldogs
แล้ว
range.
ไอ้บูมไม่ชอบ
Well, he's the fake out going right past.
เฮ้ย
Dambi
จะตายแล้ว
trying to get a good read for it.
เฮ้ยสวย
Does
ทีม
come out though.
สวย
Not quite able to
เฮ้ย
receive
ขอ
as
หนึ่ง
well.
ขอหนึ่ง
Killua in for it. The
Oh,
second
Killua.
kill. Cruz coming out of its own as well, but then the sprays just putting Talon into a blender up around A short.
Yeah, gets some damage in there, don't get me wrong, but you've got the immediate rotations from the Nongshim guys, because when you see that wall go up down towards sewers, you didn't really have any other blocking of the visions, and you got the cross of the players communicated, right? So that is the immediate, we need assistance, get here now, essentially. And it's good to see that Ivy is just coming up with all those kills as well, right? Everybody on this Nongshim side are really getting engaged with at the moment, or having their little moments.
And also just being able to kind of anticipate some potential plays coming through. I mean, whether or not it was the force buy.
Yeah.
And now we have...
Well, this is very paper-rexy of Talon, isn't it?
we just witnessed it, but... No, we'll
ระวัง
see.
แท็บระวังแท็บเอ้ยดูตัวดิ
Through as well, trying to
ตัว
into sight, but
เอาดิ
this garage
เอาดิ
is all
เอา
small
ดิ
and size, all packed in, where the Stingers will be able to find their mark. Still though, Francis reading those exits out of garage, he's able to spray them down.
You're gonna have a
ฟอนต์นะ
great
ฟอนต์
flank
อีก
from
อันนี้ไม่ใช่
Persia
ฟอนต์
here,
ครับ
and I don't
อันนี้
think
เขา
they're
เรียกว่า
gonna
หา
expect it
ค
to
รับ
be this rapid.
เฮ้ย
Yeah, so Talon needing to kind of stay
อย่าหาว่า
aware
บูม
of
สอน
what
นะ
could be coming
ราวหน้าเขาซื้อได้ครับผม
Thinking good push further in, but yes, the drone out from Ivy instantly spots him out.
เย้
Happy to receive.
แพ้แล้ว
Line, Ivy peeks out,
แพ้
finds
แล้
the double,
ว
and the round to 10 for Nongshim.
Yeah, nice drone to be able to kind of, you know, you're going for the information on the back of it, but it incentivizes Talon to try and push you and get you when you've got that drone in play, quickly gets off it, you've got a teammate with you as well, and then you've got the contingency of Persia in the backlands going for the flank if the fights around that site go awry. So really nice adjustments in the rounds to come out from Nongshim. Again, you know, very paper-esque of Talon to go for that force buy. We didn't see it work for paper-esque. We saw Alex get a little bit upset about that one this time as well. Is Frost going to be upset
เอาแล้ว
with
ไง
the
มาแล้วครับ
that's
ฟอ
another
ร์
little
ไทม์
half force up? Doesn't go
ฟอร์
the
เวีย
way,
ดอยู่
right? Because it's a situation where you drop the pistol, you drop the next 2 rounds, you've got a timeout to come out from Talon here. If this next round doesn't go your way, well, that's 11-5. You're potentially dropping this map. And remember,
ถ้า
Talon
เรา
picks
นี้ไม่
this
ได้ก็
map.
GG ได้ไอ้เหี้ย
Oh, just kind of quick glimpse of the coach cams as well, though. Well, Frost
ไหลเยอะครับ
hopefully a lot
แพ้ฟอร์
more
บายก็อย่างนี้แหละแต่
calm
เกือบ
and
ชนะ
concise,
นะ
but needing to be decisive as well as to how Talon might operate on this attacking side.
And this is going to be the important time as well for a team like Talon now that is going back in towards the native Thai language, right? It's going to be important for Cruz to translate everything that's coming through from the coaches and making sure that the team is on the same page.
Yeah, a lot of lessons to be learned here, especially with Nongshim on the other side. I mean, currently, at least on the second half, Nongshim just feel as though they are maintaining their distance, kind of luring Talon in towards some of these plays where they're just able to set themselves up.
Yep. So this is the, you know, quite delayed bonus round, one might say. You're getting up close to a lot of these ultimates right now, but, you know, it's not the worst equipment for Nongshim, right? So it's a pretty even duel, all things considered.
Very much so. And if they do pick this up, then I would see the game pretty much being hammered in and through. Cam instantly spotting out, so some of Talon's intentions already being told. Oh, Killua though just sending it into garage, instantly spammed through.
Yep, trying to get the timing on the back of his clone, but it's not going to be happening, unfortunately. So that's one avenue of how you would get into a site done. You do have Primi, and he really needs to try and lead for the team here, doesn't he?
Also, in terms of the macro game, not too much of a red herring, right? This is Nongshim knowing what they're trying to pull off. It's not a clear fake, so they're still spreading themselves across just to watch out for where Talon might push.
Yeah, and you may have missed it, but Ivy did just use his AL drone to re-clear mid after that camera was destroyed earlier on, right? So there is a lull of info right now that has faded away, and Nongshim fall back from the site. They've still got this trap wire here. Persia is on the site. A smoke to refresh in a couple of seconds, but he kind of is isolated. Now that Margaret's here, though, they can fight.
Trying to refill that space where the drone kind of left off.
เหี้ยเปอร์
Still,
เซีย
the
แม่ง
trade
ยิง
protocols
แบบ
coming back through into it. Nongshim happy to receive, especially up around the lake areas and on site.
เปอร์เซียแม่งแบบยิงไอพิมมี่แบบยิงไอพิมมี่ดับเลยอ่ะ
awkward, and that's, you know, even more hurtful because of the 2 force-ups that we had in rounds number 14 and 15. You know, a timeout that doesn't convert into your team's way either. So things go from bad to worse for Talon right now. 2 rounds essentially, and this map could be done.
On Talon's own map pick, you might, if you're Nongshim, you might even consider just buying an outlaw, considering the fact that they're all probably going to be on light shields. But we will stay on the right.
It's be risky if you do go for the outlaw though, because Killua has the dimensional drift, right? So you kind of need to respect this at the moment. You play off-site, and you go in together. You've got an overdrive for Danby to throw in there. You've got the Armageddon for Francis, and on a map like Haven, really impactful at A.
Give them that space, do your due diligence in working across the map. Where could some of the possible lurks be? Now they've spotted out Cruz. Simple trade being found, 4 on 4. Killua though.
Yeah, you almost need to feel like you have to use the Armageddon here to help your team get into the site.
You've got a lot of space if you were Talon. Make sure to hold on to that space and try to prevent Nongshim from pushing through. Armageddon being sent in by Francis just to cause some havoc on the site. Dabby sliding in with the overdrive, and he's gonna be
ดูจิตบ
able
อย
to
เล่นไม่ดีเลยวันเนี้ยดูจิตบอยหลุดมากอะ
noise if you're Talon pushing through.
จิตบอยโลกอะไรวะเนี่ยไปไหนเนี่ยจิตน้องมันยืนได้เนี่ยวันนี้จิตแม่งดูดิโดนรีคอนเดินออกไปตายอะ
Sent in
ยืนได้เพื่อนมึงถอยหลัง
by
ไม่ดี
Francis just to cause some
โอ้
overdrive and together as a team flood the site, knowing what angles to clear. The fact that there was a bit of a recon boys did not help his situation either, and it's just really quick plays from Nongshim. Everybody, doing what they need to in that sort of position, and now they have put themselves on map point of their opponent's picks, and they've got 7 of them to play with.
Every step of the way, every round, Talon tries to peek into a site. Nongshim are there. They're here, they're there, they're every frickin' where, and that's going to be just Talon now trying to hold back with their last-ditch effort, the last buy that they could possibly afford. If they're able to make this work, then
เฮ้ย
7
มึงยังสงสัยอีกว่ายืนได้ไม่ได้มึงไม่เห็นไอ้กินแซบมันยืนอยู่ข้างในจริงๆเหรอวะไอ้ตาบอดทั้งหลาย
Droning out mid to clear some information. It's going to get dodged.
Pretty standard for now.
Yep, and Margaret. I mean, in this sort of situation for him as well, he knows that he needs information in either garage or over at long. Camera to be destroyed, so now he's got the info.
Especially the conversion wall being sent out as well. Currently not
ตายจีจีเฮ้ยมาไอ้ฟาด
Here comes Primi with another kill contract, needing to hit the spot.
โอ้ยพิม
Find his ground. Retaps onto the shield.
Ivy Hunt is Fury though.
Trying to set himself up for it. Team
ไม่พิม
in
ยิง
position 4-on-4 for Talon. Trying to get themselves away from the spike, possibly play post plant around C long, and that's when the hardest fury comes out. So, trying to call that the site is somewhat clear. Does find Killua as well. So more trades found now. C long being smoked off. Primi and Jit Boys needing to find the correct spams, but Nongshim's got spams of their own. It's just Primi running out of bullets. Does find a tap, but Damby finds the
ว่า
map.
แล้ว
Final score 13-5.
เชี่ย
Not what I expected at all.
แอบ2
I mean, I predict eliminated.
ท่าอย่างเงี้ย
By Talon.
แบบอย่างนี้เลยแบบออกมาเองอะไม่รู้ใครอยู่ข้างๆกูอะแต่กูใส่หมดอะ
Number 1, Ivy on the ISO.
แบบดีใจจัดอะ
Some trickling of lore. It's not the first time.
แบบดีใจออกมาแบบออโต้ไม่ไอใคร
Now we'll see how effective this ISO is going to be, at least for now. Primi trying to toy with the utility coming out from Nongshim in towards the B side.
แล้ว
That's
แต่
that
สูตร
refract being used effectively.
เอานี้ก่อน
He's continuing to learn.
สวยเจ็ด
Find some taps through.
เฮ้ย
Does take down Ivy's shield.
เฮ้ย
Continuing to hold the angle. Finds a double.
Oh, vulnerable going in as well. Remember the little update.
And
Ui,
the
team,
relay
yeah.
bolts.
Yeah, but it's a 2 versus 2.
Boom,
So this is
jump,
where I would expect things to
Nandi.
settle down just a bit.
Yes. Just reset.
พี่ไหมหรือว่าตัวไหน
Trying to
ฉายาดิ
find more
โคคากูมาแล้ว
opportunities and space somewhere else.
ยาใหม่
Careful though in case Nongshim might have
แต่ยัง
pushed
ไม่ได้ผ
out.
ลิตสักต้นไอ้
Still
เหี้ย
holding around baby door.
ทำไม่เสร็จ
Do decide to go to the C site. Margaret does have a trap wire,
But a little
so they have to
TFT
pivot
on.
all the way around towards the pillar side if
It's
the
already
camera
lit.
doesn't spot anything out.
If you're going to B though,
Yeah.
then you got to watch out for a link
Oh,
where
okay, cool.
Margaret is
Just
still
tap
lying
that.
in wait. Finds the first tap. Instant dink as
อุ้ย
well.
ตัว
That
ขาด
is
ด้วย
a
แล้วตัว
lot
ขาด
of
ด้วย
damage.
And now you play the 2 versus 1.
โอ้โหแล้วมีของมีเลือดมีโอกาสนะ
Utility
เฮ้ย
could
ไม่มีแล้ว
back, but
เฮียเคโซจู
need
แม่ง
to play
มา
and
เตอร์แล้ว
time this carefully. Pinged as well. So
เห็นแม่งเล่นไป16
a
ชั่ว
little
โม
bit
ง
more as
โอ้
he fans himself.
โอ้แม่งทำอะไรวะโอ้โหโผล่
Unfortunately, it's gonna be
Hey.
Martin who Goomba stomps on him instead, and that's
เอ้ย
Nongshim
มึงยิง
picking up
ซึ่ง
the
หน้า
fifth.
ดี
Yep,
สัตว์
3 out of 3 pistols
Hey,
here,
you
so
leanทำไมวะ
you see themselves kind of finding a couple of the
เออ
good ones that they
แม่ง
want
หู
to
โผล่ไอ้
see.
เหี้ย
I
ไม่กล้าวัดเลย
believe before today they were currently 50% on the
เหี้ยแบบนี้แม่ง
pistols, I believe. So if they've
แม่งไม่ได้หรอวะ
managed to find all
พูด
three,
ตรงๆนะ
that
ไอ้
just
เต้
furthers
ไอ้
that
Academy
scoreline vertically, which you do like to see.
โหดูลงทีมดิ
แม่งกักๆนั่นเลยว่ะคอมที่แม่งให้มา
Meeting again, Talon with Force.
โอ้โหดูมันเล่นดิ
You know, towards the first map we were talking
เชี่ย
about
ไอ้มาการ์เลส
this entire match.
แม่งไม่กล้าเดี่ยวกับลุงไอ้ฟาด
Shades of Talon versus RQ.
บอกเลยถ้ามันเดี่ยวเสร็จไอ้ทีมกูมั่นใจเลย
Yeah, highlight
ถ้ามึงพีคยังไงก็โดน
at the tail end of the first map. Of course, we did see it on this very map, right? How RQ were happy to let him in, let him play post, and let him
เฮ้ย
kind
ละเอียด
of
เหรอไม่
crumble
ชอบ
on the
กูชอบแบบ
post.
หยาบ ไม่ต้องศึกษาเยอะ
Now though, maybe
แต่อินเทอร์เฟซเว็บ อะคาเดมี่แม่งดูง่ายกว่าเยอะเลย
with the waylay
ดูง่ายว่ะ
deployed.
And if
เมื่อ
Primi
ไหร่ข้าว
can't
มัน
make
ไก่
Waylay
จะมา
work,
เนี่ยเรียนจับไก่อยู่เนี่ย
then no one can.
ข้าวมันเหรอ
This is a little bit of a tough spot to be in.
เฮ้ย
as
ไอ้
well.
เหี้ย
They're
ไอ้เหี้ย
losing
นี่ชื่ออะไรวะ
control
กูลืมชื่อแล้วไอ้ปาตุตี้ทักกูมามันบอกมันเลิกกูเลิกเล่นเอาเบียนแล้วเหรอ
B.
Yeah, you're just kind of waiting to see
Uh.
what Talon are going to do.
Oh, what
here.
the-
Nobody of Nongshim's going to go
ไปเจอ
too
มา
far
ข้างใน
forward. The
ไอ้
B
เหี้ย
side
เอาเบียนเนี่ย
give them a duel, so they're going to have to recognize the trapwire here.
เลิกไปด่าแล้วพุ่งทัก
This is something they do so
Look,
well,
my-
isn't it? You've
Look,
got
that
these
beam.
long-range weapons, and they're maintaining their range as well, sending some utility into
okay.
the site. Still though,
เฮ้ยทำไมอึดอัดจัง
Talon
อะ
happy to stay grouped up together, but that's where Margaret will come in to spray and pray everyone
เฮ้
down.
ย
It's okay that Francis loses his life.
ขอ
Getting a little
ขอ
bit
หนึ่ง
ambitious
แมป
there
หนึ่ง
with
แม
the
ป
ghost because it was just a ghost.
แมป
right?
สาม
They
จะเล่น
took the remainder of the
TFT
weapons over to this new round.
Hey,
You also don't
สาม
have the
ไม่เล่น
spy
เหรอ
plant
ไม่
from
เล่น
going
เหรอ
down,
ไม่เล่น
so
เหรอ
no extra ulti orb at the end
Yes,
there,
yeah.
no extra monies.
No extra anything, no extra win,
No extra. No. So the gun round for them this time, they won't be trying
เขาไม่ได้น่าสนใจ
little shenanigans on forcing up upon forcing up and then dropping the next gun round. This will be a proper bonus round.
Full buys up for Talon as well though.
คืออะไร
Who's one away from the
เย
Armageddon?
ลโลซีอาร์ดี
Big rubble
ขอ
contest.
แก้มือหน่อย
Technically, you would argue going the way of Talon right here with the utility providing them the forward space to stretch out in towards tree and now give Francis a bit of
กระทืบมัน
Yeah, a lot of information at the very least.
เอ
Trying to
อ
get himself out
เหี้ย
of
จะไปไหน
danger, but
ฟา
still
ด
Primi. Quick on the draw.
ขึ้นไปเอาวันเว
The
เอ
rest
อ
of Nongshim, though, already up towards heaven. Primi, especially as the waylay. Oh, he's dancing with danger right now.
Ooh.
The third kill as well. What was that tap?
อู้
Margaret and Persia left.
what
Little smoke off tree to try to reaggress. They've
มา
already picked up
แล้ว
and
กลับมา
upgraded
แล้ว
some weapons, but this is where Talon gets to erase all the mistakes from the previous map. You've got the composition
เล่น
for
เล่น
this
ให้เสีย
post
เงิน
plan.
น้อย
I
ที่
mean,
สุด
you've
อะ
got
เล่นไง
Salvos
ก็ได้
and
ให้มันเสียเงินน้อยที่สุดอะ
should be unwinnable for Nongshim.
นั่นแหละ
Off the smoke,
นั่นแหละ
Thai comes
นั่นแหละ
in
นั่น
for
แหละ
the
นั่นแหละ
peaks,
นั่นแหละ
and
ตาย
he will find the double to
สวยตาย
collect.
Yeah, nicely done. Just Primi, the only casualty, and his job was already kind of done, right? Finding the space.
ลาวใบลาวลาวใบลาว
Around rubble.
เสียงดังหน่อยเสียงดังหน่อยแหกปากออกมา
Quick shot on towards Francis, and then somehow is able to just spray transfer onto the third kill onto Danby. See that one back in the replay there as well. Quite unfortunate.
เหี้ย
if you
มุม
are
ไม่
a
เหี้ย
Nongshim
แดมบิ
fan, but
คือ
if
แบบ
you are a Talon fan, brilliant. They got the bonus round, the round that they should be winning.
เฮ้ยแผนอะไรอะแผนอะไรแผนเมื่อวานเหรอ
Is that
ได้
Francis hit by a
แผนเมื่อวานใช่ไหม
We're
เมื่อวาน
going back
ใช้
in
ไม่กี่
for
แผนนะ
another
จัดไป
double.
แผนที่
This time hit with the
79 ออกมาแล้ว
sending forward.
มันแค่
Primi
เมื่อวานนะ
refresh
ถ้าต้อง
back
บอกว่า
though, and
มัน
that's when you can
หนั
regress
ก
into
เล
the
ย
B
อะ
side if you're Talon.
Yeah, they're going to look to go potentially quick here. You've got
Ê,
the
ê,
ults
ê,
going
ê,
on in
thằng
as
gì
well.
chơi
You've
thì cao
still got
bẹt bẹt
the
á.
trapwire at the front of sight.
Bẹt bẹt á.
Do shut it
อุ้ย
down.
สวยคินรัว
79แผ่นแล้วเหรอ
Off with the kill contract will fall, and that's now Talon looking for
เชี่ยมันเจอ
other
แผนที่
options.
79
Mid-round calls into the C site. All
เฮ้ย
of
ใจ
a
เย็น
sudden,
ขึ้นมาพร้อมกัน
only
Lucky
here
shot.
to
เฮ้ย
receive
ช่วยหน่อยช่วยลุงหน่อยโห
ไม่ค่อยได้เจอนะ
มึงไม่มาช่วยลุงไว้ฟาด
If you're Talon now, feeling the pressure, how do you regroup? How do you recollect?
One,
They're
one.
still trying to break their way into the site, but
มึงจะอยู่
it
ยังไง
feels a little
อะ
bit disjointed.
สวย
Down
ตาย
the side,
ช่วยตายหน่อยช่วยตายหน่อย
some couple of frags,
ไม่มีไม่มีทางนี้ไม่มีเพื่อนดูให้อยู่
สวยแล้วเต้
Oh,
Boys
reveal.
up
เพื่อน
towards
ดูให้อยู่
Mound.
เพื่อนดูให้อยู่ตายไม่มี
They
2
should,
on 2 though.
they should know that it's mound and backside too.
Still within lethal range. Talon could find a chance to strike, but Francis in for the sprays. Close range hit by Paranoia. No problem. We will find the ace.
มึงขีดค่าแผนที่ 79 มึงทิ้งไปก่อนเลยเบื้องขั้นตอนแรกอะนะ เอ้ยเหี้ย
2 versus 2, right? A brilliant horde. Very self-sufficient for
เอ
him
อ
and
ว่ะ
just dancing around
ใช้
the
แผนที่
site,
78 ก็พ
assisting
อ
his team. Definitely want to see
กล้าไม่
moments
ลืม
of
ไปก่อนเลยลืมไปก่อนเลย
Just in total control, especially up by Waterfall, holding that angle. No one was able to make their way past
yeah.
Francis.
This time maybe we'll see some boys back up.
ไปแล้วครับ
Back
ปั๊บ
up
ปั๊บ
Primi in the play for the rubble control
ครั
as
บ
he refracts on out. Well, we can't really see the same thigh.
โอ้
Oh yeah, unfortunately will fall.
Yeah, he's left him. He's left his boy there, and now
So-
they've
ไม่
got
ได้
no
เปรียบ
smokes.
เลยไม่ได้เปรียบเลยการที่จะได้เปรียบนี่มันยากเหลือเกิน
Mm,
Is that worth it though?
no. Right now, it's
not the intended play.
Because no one else from Talon got out to be able to help, right? It's the
Ui,
stalling of
anti.
the utility. If you want to reclaim the
เฮ้ย
space,
มึงถอยได้
the
ดิ
ultimate is
ไม่
certainly
เห็น
going to
ว่า
help
มันเล่น
you,
กัน
but
3 บ้าง
Persia just dodges everything here.
Oh my god, and that's where he sprays at the right time. Bit of a spray transfer as now Dambi chimes in for the double to finish things off.
Big numbers there from Nongshim around the A side as well, getting the first kill. It doesn't
Job
matter if the
แล้ว
saturate collects because Dambi's just there, right? He's already ready to fight.
Job
He's
แล้ว
absolutely okay with having the fights thrown his way. Really, really good repositioning from Persia. I must admit, you know, the drone that starts to come on out, it'll find his position, but there's no, you know, quick communications that you can get for that really quick shot. You know, we're not reading minds here to get Persia out there and maybe
ไอ้
bring some
ไอ้
stability
แดม
back
บิมัน
towards
รู้
Talon.
ความลับเกมนะเว้ยว่าเวเลมันใช้ไม่ได้อะดูดิมันย้ายกลับไปนีออนแล้วน่ะไอ้
On
เหี้ย
the further end, but now as the next round plays up,
แต่ทารอนไม่
Talon
รู้
with
ดิ
full pistols, just classics.
ทารอนไม่รู้ความลับเกมเลย
Trying to pick up on Alto.
Please help us.
Double trap wires on the side as well. You know, you'll usually see
I mean,
Shroud
it's not
steps on
bad,
the top of
no.
the boxes where that one you would hope to find, or if your waylay is dashing in, that's where you will trap him as well. So some good kill trips to come through from Margaret here. If anyone's watching and you're playing against waylays in ranked, for example, if you're a
ไม่
side
แต่แดมบิแม่งสตรองมากๆอ่ะแบบไอ้นีออน
Something to take note of, but
มันชงเองกินเองได้ไงตัวมันโหดไอ้เหี้ย
Francis with
Ui,
the
cái
power
gì?
back. It does send Talon
Yeah.
off across the map.
เล่นกันไว้แล้วครับ
B site now.
ว่าเวเลจะขึ้น
Just
มา
to check. But Ivy's in position. So
ไม่
is
ไม่
Dambi.
มีปัญ
it's
หา
just
แบ
the
บ
pistols
มัน
though,
มัน
remember?
แดนกลับได้
Unless you're
อะ
investing a
นี่
lot of
ข้อ
this
ดีของมัน
utility to try and push Nongshim back.
Trying to at least
Okay.
possibly get the
Don't-
spike
don't
down.
power,
The
yeah.
refract will help out the rest of the team.
Oh,
though,
oh.
and it allows for Cruz to
ยิง
find
คนไหม
double
ไอ้เปรต
taps. Still
No
no,
way.
within close range.
เอออย่า
Goes in for the right click, pulls out the stun.
อุ้ยเหลือคนเดียว
Remy now finding
ค
some
นเดียว
kills.
คน
Picks
เดียว
up
จิต
on the
วิ่ง
vandal, and
จิตวิ่ง
he's
ดิ
got the
สัตว์
spike. It's
จิต
a
วิ่งดิสัตว์
1-2.
จิตวิ่งดิ
Full
สัตว์
classics to get the job done. Maybe here for Talon.
เล่นยังไง2-1
The rotating door.
เล่นยังไง เล่นยังไง
Persia does have
2-1
smoke and dark cover. The ladder used already.
With the
เล่นยังไง
shrouded step and now back in
คุย
the
กัน
stairs.
มัน
Surely
มีควันนะ
Talon expects this, but they will hold
มันมีควันนะ
up spawn
นั่นไง
with a
เข้าควัน
high
จิต
low.
ชิงเข้าควันก่อนจิต
Reposition.
จิง
Quick call from them, but is it all
เข้า
bait
สิ
for
สัตว์
Persia?
เฮ้ยไม่เข้าวะ
Information is key.
เข้าไป
Try not to reveal too much. Repositions
Ừ,
with the shrouded
นั่นแหละ
step though.
นั่นแหละ
That's completely well read by Primi.
Yeah, not able to, or not choosing rather, to creep up in towards the site and go deeper to play
แล้ว
against
คู่
a
นี้
high
รู้
low
ใจ
setup, for example.
That was an incredible round. You know, hell
was-
with a waylay.
That was a round that probably shouldn't have happened, to be honest with you. It's full classics getting in towards the site where the classics
Classic
are getting the
5
shots
ไอ้
done
เหี้ยชนะ
outside, you know, kind of push a little bit first as well, and there's trades that are coming on out.
เหี้ยคลาสสิก
The thing is,
5ชนะว่ะเพื่อน
Talon are not aiming to get the spike down.
อะไรเย็ดอะไร
In there, right? They're happy.
เอ้ยเอาอีกมันใจอีกอะไรมันงงเว้ยหวาบอะไรมึง
You're just kind of reacting
หวาบ
with
อะไร
the
มึง
throwing
13-5
at the
นี่ไง
show,
อะไร
with the
ล่ะ
refract play. All of a sudden, you got to watch out for the rest. But now, Talon looking to hang back, anticipating peaks
แม่งยังสง
from
สัยอยู่
Nongshim. Full spams through and back in towards Rubble. Dambi though.
เฮ้ยอะไร
Sprinting ahead.
But it is good damage, right? That
ทำไร
follow-up potentially going for an early
โอ้
draw again here.
เจ็บจะตายอีกแล้ว
Spot timing on the dark
เฮ้ย
cover
เก็บ
as
มันติ
well
เก็บ
is
มันติ
gonna
กล้อง
halt the
ส
proceedings.
วย
Look
ดิ
like
อย่าง
this
งี้มีอันติ
side
เข้าบอมเว้ย
of
เพื่อน
skill trips are still gonna be here
ได้
for
เปรียบ
Margaret. This dark cover, when you see that play on top of the smoke, you would on top of the site, you generally expect shrouded steps to come in. We've been seeing that a lot from teams
ไม่ไปไหนอะ
lately. So heads up play from Margaret to at least anticipate that from the beginning there.
เอ้ยทำไมเสียงแหลก
Still though, with that space being relegated, it also allows for Killa to pick up the Altor.
ๆวิลลี่เคนนะบี
Has a rolling thunder. So looking to regress, possibly with fault line in towards A.
The Prowler, though,
ชิบ
the
หาย
fact
แล้ว
that
รู้
it
ไหมเนี่ย
gets someone
พี่
so
เปอร์
close to the pillars and
พี่
you
เป
see
อร์
the cage, you're not incentivized to
กู
expect
ตาย
it to
ถือปืนตาย
Yeah, still now, time ticking. Persia will be able to eliminate Thai as he tries to launch an assault. We're back into
อะไรอ่ะ
the
นั่น
season.
นั่นอะไรอ่ะกูเห็นอะไรอยู่อ่ะ
เล่นเหี้ยเหรอ
Still have those kill trips.
Oh,
Oh,
dodged.
dodged fully by
สวย
That allows for Jit Boys now to relay back into the site.
อะไร
And
อะไร
everyone now stumped.
ตายไปดิเฮีย
Jit
เฮ้ยวาง
Boys,
บอม
Primi
เฮ้ย
finding
เฮ้ยวาง
frags
ดิ
for themselves and just Dambi off to the other end, not quite able to
อะไร
assault
อะไรเนี่ย
back
อะไรเนี่ย
Still though,
ไอ้นั่นยิงอะไรอะยิงนานจังอะ
Jit
ใคร
Boys
อะ
shuts it down.
โอ้คินรัว
Well,
ไอ้
a couple
เหี้ย
of
คิน
bits
รัว
of
ยิง
timing
นาน
there
จัด
for Talon to get on in and the rest of the squad as well to overwhelm
you don't
Nongshim,
know.
right? You've got an
โอ้ยิง
Armageddon
หนึ่ง
that's thrown
ว่า
in the mix
แล้
there
ว
from
อะไร
Cruz.
อะไร
Puts him in a bit of a spot of bother.
อะไรหรอ
Saturate did catch Damby there.
อะไรวะน่ะ
But the fact that Margaret's kill trips don't work
คิ
out
นรัว
the way
ยิง
you
อยู่
would
วัน
hope
กว่า
as well really makes things a little bit difficult for him to re-navigate around the site and try to find some value as the Sentinel.
Certainly is tricky given how that light speed works. But still, so far we're seeing
เฮ้ย
great ways
พายุ
for
เข้าเว้ย
Primi
โห
to
ล่าพายุเข้าหน่วยใบด
effectively use this
ำวิ
waylay.
วิ
Some
วิ
great
Meanwhile, though,
ไปดิ ตายรอเหี้ยแล้วตาย
peek outside
Die.
of the mound.
ตาย
Cover. Triple peeks into the slide. Persia finding the shot.
ตาย
That's
อ
a
อกมา
weapon
ไทย
picked up.
But they get the idea that Francis is playing front B by seeing that Prowler and that there was a lot of players over at C. So you're going to start to toy with the ideas of rotations, right? Rotating door was popped over at the A site. You don't know if they're in tree at the moment. The Cypher setup is at A, so there is a bit of a change here. Now you're playing towards numbers. If you're Danby and you see them over at the C site, you
ต้อง
can't
ได้หนึ่ง
fall
นะ
back.
ขั้น
Play
ต่ำ
with
อะ
your shotgun. You see if you
คือ
can get
ต่ำ
one
สุดๆ
to
อะ
keep
ทะลุ
some
วัน
faith
เว
in your
วิ
team.
โอ้โหแม่งเห็น
Fact
ดิ
that he has the
วิ
shotgun
แต่
as
บอม
well,
ถูก
but
บอม
no
ถูกบอม
slide,
จี้เลย
so
จี้เลย
certainly
เฮ้ยไอ้นี่
still
แดกเข้าไปเนียนๆอ่ะ
a bit
เอา
of a
เฮ้ย
tricky spot to
แล้วทำไม
be
ส
in
กิล
for
หมดแล้วอ่ะ
Talon.
ชิบหายอย่าแยกกันดิ คนมึงก็
At this
น้อยกว่า
point,
มึง
Nongshim
แยกกัน
should
ทำไม
have
เนี่ย
question marks in their heads, so setting themselves up for a potential C hit. The flash does deter Talon, and that continues to burn down the clock.
And Salvo's just used as well,
Villa.
right? So you would have to get the spike plant down here as Talon to be
Villa.
able to reuse them in the round.
So the closest opportunity is
แปะกล้องดิ
going to
แปะ
be
กล้องดิ
Primi
แปะกล้องดิ
around
พี่
this
ไม่รู้เลย
A
ถ้าแปะ
site,
กล้อง
but
อ่ะ
it's an outlaw.
Can he duck that?
Trying to, but you're going to have to time this so well. Margaret on the other end.
วาง
Oh, he's going to buy time instead.
Sủi.
Stay alive long enough for the rest of the team.
ให้ชั่วหน่อย
Recollect.
เฮ้ย
It's a bit of a 5-on-4 nonetheless, so
เฮียจัด
we'll
เซต
see
อั
if
พดีๆ
Talon's
เซตอัพ
able to
ดี
hold.
And remember,
ได้หนึ่งทาง
Salvo's gonna
ไม่
come
อึด
on
อัด
that
ไม่อึด
angle
อัด
with the aftershock as well if he wants to
ส
reposition
วย
the
ตายหนึ่ง
tree,
มี
but
เตโฮมีเตโฮสกิลไหม
Okay, shield popped.
สวย
Talon then
เอ้ย
extends
มีอีกไหม
their
มีอีกไหม
range, using the
พี่เก่งกว่านี้บ้างสัส
Kilo as well to hold the angle.
เฮ้ยกูแล้วเหรอ
Just
กูแล้วใช่ไหมทีมที่มึงทำเนี่ย
good weaponry, trying to push their way through. Francis in for the tap, but spotted out by
เฮ้ย
Primi.
เออ
Off to the back,
Yeah,
Danby as well. Jit Boys making it clean for Talon.
can't help but wonder
Oh,
if
Oh,
we
he
decided,
didn't
you know, to kind of send it when they're going for the plant, right? Try and pull them off the plant by a little bit of extra time when it starts to go
หมายถึงว่า
down.
โลเหลือคนเดียว
You could see the idea maybe was toyed with for Margaret when the traps did get
โอ้โห
destroyed.
คมจัด
but
จิตบอยจอยบิด
So a well-navigated round
หมุ
at
น
the
กล้อง
end
มาแล้ว
there
ไอ้กล้องโกรธละ
from the likes of Talon, not deciding to backpedal after the space was found by Primi.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยตะโกนหน่อยดิ
Walking up
โอ้โหแน่นอน
towards
โอ้
A
แม่ง
there.
แม่งอะดรีนาลีนไม่หลั่งเลย มันต้องตะโกนออกมา
It's
เฮ้
time
ย
for Nongshim. Well, for the first one.
นี่หนึ่งเกินร้อยอ่ะ
จะแพ้กูอยู่แล้ว
Somewhat even, but it is Talon beginning to find
ไม่ทำทรงเรียบร้อยเว้ยพวกเนี้ย
well, shades of red. Both teams do have red logos, but again, being able to maneuver around the map with this waylay, I mean, it has been quite effective, you have to admit. Maybe not so much on Danby, but with Primi and with proper team protocols around this,
Oh
he
my
has
แบบ
been
จริงจังเหรอ
somewhat
แต่ก่อนเนี้ย
finding
กู
out
หิวจริง
utility around
Anh đi
Rubble,
à?
refracting
Đấy,
back, or even just dashing into the B side, for example, back on that
ไม่เหลือ
pistol.
เดียว
Yeah, a couple of the earlier duels, right, when he's going for the waylay by himself and just
นี่ว่า
อยากได้
disconnecting,
ว่ะ
right?
เฮี
They're
ย
not
ไม่
really
ให้กู
the
ไอ้
value
สัตว์
that we're sort of
Em có
seeing
ngay
is
hơn
when
giờ
he's
này.
with the team and they're able to
Yes.
flood in behind him, right? Really a good layered approach.
ไม่ยอมให้สั่ง
So
That's what's probably going to happen around A at the moment, where we're just going to get a big contest around the rubble.
เรียกว่าหนังมันเลยดีกว่า
Or for the fellas out there, contention.
แฮกมา
at least for now, Nongshim going back into it. It is just Primi. That's a lot of utility already spent.
Yep.
Then Talon fans out a little bit closer in towards B, a little bit in towards C.
Oh, does Ivy want to use the kill contract? He won't, so he won't have a shield
มีใคร
going
สามไหม
into it.
กูถามจริง
Remember,
ถ้ามีใครสามนี่กูไหว้
he
ไปเลย
does get the kill, he'll have a shield coming out of it.
กลับมา
Sure.
แม่งงามๆเลย
Still, the bit of a lurk already eliminated. He does
he's
alleviate
not
some
gonna
pressure
do it.
towards the C site. Margaret,
มันมี
knowing
ฝั่ง
where his opponents are coming in from,
เจอแม่งเลย
pops the cage and
Anh
then
đi sỏ
falls
mấy
back
bậc,
into
mấy
a
quả lười
safer
à?
spot.
Oh,
Nongshim
but
looking to retake with numbers.
And he can't play off his trick there either,
นำเลย
unfortunately.
ด้วย
Yeah, so good.
Remember, Primi does have convergent pass as well, so
ได้เร็ว
maybe
ไง
they want to find
ผู้
some
เล่น
deeper space towards it.
And kill contract from Ivy as well would give Nongshim more of a numbers advantage, but
ที่ผมตก
All
ไป
the
ว่า
info, neural theft.
ไปตกไป
true.
นี่ไง
Talon
ตกไป
looking to extend
เอ้ยที่หนึ่งมันยังไม่แพ้ใครเลยวะเดี๋ยวมันก็แพ้แล้วเนี่ย
hit by ISO utility undercut being sent through. Primi though still able to land a nutty shot, but that's the kill contract now coming through. Primi off to the other end, still able to find another frag. Killua deletes Ivy as well. Longer into that alternate dimension. Now it's just left down to Dambi and Persia to pretty much run off for the save.
Yeah, Ivy not having a good day in the office in the ISO there. Unfortunately, another kill contract that doesn't go his way here.
แต่ไอ้เหี้ยนั่นแหละว่าจาวาน
That's still such a methodical round coming out from Talon off of Nongshim's timeout.
I want to see that ridiculous shot that just, you know, a jump in out
ตีตายนะลงล้านปี
and you just deleted.
I certainly hope that we will get to take a look at that during the replays, but still, I mean, the way this entire round was piloted by Talon. First of all, you have Primi just to bait out all that utility, then the rest of the squad. Oh, right there.
Yeah, I wish we could see that from Primi's point of view if he was already ready for it, because he was strafing towards the corner side of sight, right? Either way, Talon are going to be able to find the lead here.
I wonder what our desk thinks now. This is the first time we've seen.
No,
like,
we can't give the desk the fuel for the waylaid. We can't do it.
Why not?
My camera is destroyed.
I don't know.
Could be good. Could be. It certainly is looking good for now, but I will hold my tongue because the scoreline is still rather close.
We were just highlighting why Dambi shouldn't be playing it,
ต้อ
right?
งมาดู
Because
ต้อง
Neon,
มาส่องไหม
Different player.
yeah, not wrong.
Still don't. Rubble control now for Nongshim. Margaret has been
Well, look how deep they are in lobby, though.
holding this responsibility to hold down C with the push out all of a sudden now. Something that Talon hasn't quite anticipated.
รู้บอกว่า
They
คุณจะเล่
will
นอะไร
feel the punch off that one.
Yeah, and you give the spike to
ไป
him.
เดียว
You don't want to overstay your welcome when you've got the player advantage. You've also removed smokes now for Talon. You've removed Cruz as well, so no salvos and drone that you got to contend with.
It's going to be a little bit tougher if you are to retake Rubble, especially with that smoke in their faces.
But Persia is by himself, and they're just going to contact out to him, so he has to hit these shots, Quack. First
And
one's
he
good.
will. It's a clear and concise off angle, simply held. Perhaps if Jit Boys might have bought some attention, especially around B, but unfortunately it wasn't quite there. So now Jit Boys using this slight positioning or timing to sneak into the B site.
I don't think Francis saw him whatsoever.
Yeah, not quite, but you've got Primi still.
Okay, now he saw them.
And that's a bit of a tell already. You still got to watch out for where Margaret could be approaching in from. And it's just a tap. 15 seconds, and then you're running it down into the C site. Margaret's still somewhere. What are you going to do?
Yeah, the camera too, don't forget.
Not entirely sure. That's the swing from Jit Boys, unfortunately into his own death.
Yep.
5 seconds, Primi looking for the stick, and with that stick comes the kill from Margaret. Nongshim tying up the score.
Yep, didn't need to re-get on the camera to try and tag Primi up there. Just recognize that he has to go for the plant time there, and he can catch him when he tries to re-pull the primary weapon out. So, an immediate end for Nongshim, and a wise idea for the as well, right? Catching Talon a little bit off guard with that aggression.
โอ้ไม่มีที่ใช้สักอัน
นำเว้ย
They get a little bit worrisome at some points, but I do believe Nongshim playing the macro game right now, able to read the map, especially with Margaret anchoring down the C site. Doesn't feel too much of a presence coming up from Talon, so that was the call for the rest of the team. Talon possibly needing to retool their current approach.
Yeah, well, they have already found 5 rounds, right? And that's what they did get against RRQ, though their defensive side was a little bit lackluster. So I am hoping that they've fine-tuned that a little bit more going on the flip. But 2 more rounds to play in this half. Again, we're going to have a little bit of a rubble contest that Nongshim are ultimately going to win. Yeah, Primi didn't actually use light speed this time to get out there, right? So he's still got that available with an operator to post up a line early.
That's something for Nongshim to take note of as well. Primi wasn't here, so he's got to be somewhere else, and that refract is still in play. So positioned up towards C, he's trying to find Margaret. Meanwhile, the peek out from Nongshim outside of B, though, instantly punished. And then the mid-round to crunch down Francis's position. That's Francis gone.
เอาโวยเฮียนะกูบุกเว้ย
Margaret peeking out.
โว้ย
Death, Persia firing frantically to try to survive.
มันดิสัน
That an open sight onto C.
false sense of security, unfortunately, for Nongshim there when Francis throws in the Prowler and it
7-5
doesn't
เว้ย
deep enough at the pillars. They try to throw everything at it, throwing 3 players, and it's just a little firm how do you do from Talon that they're ready for.
Firm and steady, and now on for a bit of a hunt.
If you do remove this gun from Persia, you go into the last round where you're still going to have to see the full rebuy from Nongshim. No overdrive for Danby either.
Needs to stay alive.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's at the right position technically if you look at the way that Talon are kind of consuming positions around the map.
A big long smoke to try to throw Talon off his scent as well, but now already spotted out, flushed out of position. Thigh. Okay, we'll jump on over. Brimmy holds the opposite angle, and that will hurt your chances at buying back into the next round.
Well, you got to buy in the next round. It is the last round of the
Well,
half.
I mean,
It mainly is the difference between
can't
what
afford-
the rest of the team is going to have,
can't buy
right?
one up for his teammate.
Can't go one over towards Darby. Wouldn't be surprised if they want to go for a bit more of this A-Rubble control, get the orb, get him one step closer to the overdrive that you might have available if a plant goes down, for example.
หยุดเหรอ
We'll see.
หยุด
Before now, again, this waylay and how much it's able to do, or maybe not even that, just Talon's protocols and how they want to show off different looks across the map. Rebel control conceded for now.
Yeah, Thai's going to commune that over to the team that he saw the convergent wall.
ขึ้นทีขึ้น2 ตัว
So you know that the ISO was around the A site. Don't know if they actually spotted out Downby though, who has the judge in hand. Now they will with the drone. So you get an idea that both duelists were towards the A site. Where would the Cypher be? Generally wouldn't be at the same site then, so you kind of assume maybe over towards C that he's been time and time again.
And that's how Talon can kind of formulate a plan around this, right? Let's avoid the duelists
Oh.
headed towards an opposite site. But
Check
Persia
แล้วครับ
will
แต่
be able
เช็ค
to
ไม่
strike
สุด
all of a sudden as well.
Oh, he's
To
hungry.
look for the trade. The duelist now continuing to push out. Hungry.
เอา7-5
But that's where they get punished by Talon.
โดนไปดิ
Just going to pivot towards this C site together as a team to play strength in numbers.
Absolutely.
อุ๊ยเห็น
Got a
เห็น
little bit of a
เห็น
potential
เห็นเว้ย
pinch
มัน
from
เห็นเว้ย
Francis, though, but he's only got the Guardian.
เฮ้ย
Rolling Thunder
เฮ้ย
now
พิมพ์
sent out by
พิมพ์
Cruz.
สวยพิมพ์
But still, the entire site, everyone collapsed on into it.
Yep, 7-5 half. Some good rounds to come out from Talon.
It was a bit of a question mark for our desk. It's a bit of a question mark for us as well. But
Yeah.
we'll see how this double duelist fares off on the attacking side for Nongshim.
I would actually really like to know, like, when Ivy played the Rainer and the Jet that he has dived in towards before. Like, how long ago was this?
Gonna have to
With
dig.
what roster? You know, I got to dig deep.
For that one, for sure. But at least for now, a lot of noise made outside Seamount.
เย้ยแม่งพูดขอสาระ
But
ดั
I
กไว้
gotta
ก่อ
go
น
with it. That's the thing right now. Differences in terms of our initiators, where Cruz gets that drone up
แต่
through
ก็บอก
mid,
ว่าเลยนะมึงมา
Prowler
ผิด
that
ที่แล้ว
Francis
สา
was
ระ
throwing, and you're already seeing a big rotation from Talon towards this C site.
Someone getting the read for it, but this is when Margaret goes in for the
Mikhail.
mark once
เพื่อน
again.
หนีตาย
นั่นไง
ไอ้เหี้ย
เรียบร้อย
Very proficient in his lurks, but does he
เรียบ
expect
ร้อยเลย
Cruz to be
ขอ
on
สาระ
this slight little off angle? Good
เฮ้ย
read.
ทีมทีมทีม
He swings for it as well. and That does hurt. For
เหี้ยลุงครีมดุจัด
feeling the pain from that one.
Oh,
And then the salvos to
oh,
flush
oh.
out those footsteps closer in towards A main. So Talon ready to strike.
เฮ้ยทำอะไร
Fortunately,
ทำอะไร
not quite as swift and precise as they needed it to be.
Needs to make sure he doesn't refactor to that spot.
ที่นั่นชนะด้วย
So that's gonna be Nongshim able to get the
แต่เผื่อไป
spike
เจอมัน
down
นะ
to A. How will they play it though?
อุ้ยหลังมาลุงทีมเอาเยอะจัด
As well
อู้
as
ลุง
that.
ทีมเฮ้ย
Front. Cruz though on a bit of a tear in this pistol.
เยอะ
Dami feeling the pressure.
Hey,
needing to
Dam!
push on out. Will be able to find a double.
Is it enough for his team though to be able to close this crack?
2 on
มัน
3.
ทำได้ขนาดนั้น
Cruz
เลยเหรอวะ
is relatively
Hey,
low,
yeah.
and Ivy
Ui, cái mẹ.
is wow.
ก่อนที่
เฮ้ย
จะ
ดู
ทำ
เล็งไว้เลยเอ้ย
Somewhat sussed out.
เอ้ย
Have an
Kiệt
idea
phẳng
of where
rồi.
he is, and he does have that double tap as well.
แล้วปล่อยให้ลุงทีมเล่นคนเดียวอุ้ยหันไป
Staying hidden.
สวย
Looking for it. Jit Boys will be
Học
able
phẳng
to
tím này.
strike
Rạ.
him in the back.
Rạ.
Yes.
And to clean things up. Talon
Ủa,
picking
kết bắt
up the
thằng Lý.
pistol.
Yeah, they're going to find their first one
Tài.
of this series as well, and I got to say,
ขอไล่พี่ขอไล่
all of those jewels for Nongshim, they're essentially individual, right? They're very disconnected in how they're playing those pistols. I mean, you get the idea that you want to try and see Danby push up in towards the spawn, bring something back towards the
เล่น
team.
ไปแล้วเอ้า
But
ไม่
from
ตาย
that one, you know, Ivy
Ow.
is not playing an agent that can really have some
ต้องให้
great
กูเชียร์หนอง
impact
ชิม
on
ใช่ไหม
post plant when he's
พวกมึงถึง
all
จะ
the
ได้
way
ชอบ
on the
กัน
bubble.
น่ะ
You know, he has to run in, especially with Persia losing his
พอ
life.
กูเชียร์ทารอนก็ไม่ถูกใจ
In that sort of scenario, you know, if he finds the right little lurk timing in there, okay, sure, but it's not going to be reliable.
Yeah, it's not so much of a post-plan agent, more of a slightly initiating duelist kind of agent, so you need to be pushing up front, especially alongside Dambi. I gotta imagine that's what it is, but still, right now with a bit of a slight half,
เฮ้ย
the Bucky, and he's just non-stop
นักไม่มา
เอ้ย
forward, takes down
มัน
Jit
เรียบอย่าง
Boys.
เงี้ย
That's already a bit of a frag. Spike down as well.
Only Dambi would do that, and now they re-clear towards the halls as well, and they pull for a gun.
Out.
Hey!
Slide further in. Triple
Why?
bound. Trying to shut him down.
ไม่ไหววะ
But
Why?
reeling from the losses. Trades
Why?
found by Francis
Why?
now.
And they know Cruz is here because he just opened the rotating door. The camera is just going to catch him smiling.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to save.
Yep. Unfortunate. What a round from Nongshim.
มันจะมาเล่นชี้
What a...
It's just Dummy.
Well, I mean, what a Nongshim round. Honestly, only Dambi would...
You'll love to see it. It took him a couple of shots.
Waylay can't do that.
That's true.
Waylay cannot do something like that.
เป็นฉันได้หรือเปล่า
You know, Big Time Canada talked about it. It just looks natural for Dambi to be on the
100%.
Neon. Yes, but I do wonder, you know, what's going to be that natural look then for the likes of Primi.
โทมัสบุลเลอร์ค่อยๆกินเฮ้ยเป็นตัวที่มัน
Yeah,
แบบ
I mean, it's going to be a lot of
เฟี้ยวๆ
growth
ลงกว่านี้หน่อยได้ไหม
as well, right? Incorporating the two new players from the Challengers circuit and how they're going to look. You know, Primi still
แม่งให้กูเป็นโทมัสบุลเลอร์
roster as well, right? So you really do have a lot of newcomers coming in towards Talon that
มันบีบแม่งโหด
that
จัดว่ะ
Cruz has a lot of
Musiala ไหม
responsibility.
โซมัสเล่
So far, able to live up to that mantle, but as the
โด
rounds
นที่
continue
ที่สอง
playing out, we'll see. Because this round is one where economy not quite favoring Talon for now.
Big
They do
trap.
have that 4-1 on towards the A site.
Big trap if they hear an old tap or any footsteps.
Muller
around
โหดนะพี่
the
โหดนะ
rotating
พี่
door. There's info that a breach has been spotted.
Jiggles as well. Prowler
มี
now.
โทมัสบุลเลอร์กับมูเซล่ามึงเลือกอะไรอ่ะ
Camera from Jit Boys though still seeing that
Hey.
pushing much towards the C
กู
site.
ขอเป็นมูเซล่าแล้วกันขอเป็นในกากมูเซล่าก็ได้
These are the sort of situations for
เป็น
Talon
เต็ม
as
ที่
well,
อะไร
right?
โทมัส
That
บุลเลอร์
you can't really
เมื่อ
hope
ก่อน
that
มัน
they
เก่ง
come
เดี๋ยวนี้
towards
มันเป็น
the
ยังไง
A
ล่ะ
site. If not, they're gonna
ตัด
have
มา
some
ปัจจุบันดิ
significant time to set themselves up around C
เดี๋ยวนะคนบุญรัก
while waiting, as you mentioned, for this camera, right? When it eventually
there it is.
spots out something.
ตอนที่มูเซล่ากากมุลเลอร์อาจจะไม่อยู่แล้วก็ได้
Start to do so.
เฮ้ย
Got some
ไปไหนอ่ะ
trips as well.
ไปเล่นให้ที
Not
ลีก
quite
อื่น
the guns. We'll see if he can do some damage. Spike going out around stairs. Nongshim fanning out.
Yep. Guardian for Primi needs to be the deal breaker here.
Play close, play safe, get some frags. But Margaret not allowing for Talon to do
ไม่
that.
อยู่หน้าหรอ
เข้ามาตกใจที่
Waterfall.
บูมเหมือน
God,
คิ
he's
ม
trying to
มินแจ
regress in with the
ทำ
paranoia.
ไม
It
เลือ
does
ด
work
เลย
out for
ฟ้า
now. Primi in with a third. He continues to
มันแจ
swing. But still, Nongshim's got their number.
As I said, it needed to be Primi with that Guardian to get something happening, but unfortunately just not able to stand
กิน
and
เขา
deliver.
ไม่มีความสุขเลย
So Nongshim, they will find the 2 rounds. They will knock on the door of Talon. We're finally going to have some weaponry to see what they can do on this defensive side.
ดูอันนี้มาตก
Still kind of making it somewhat doable.
Yeah.
Some of these kills, you gotta imagine he's close to his ult as well, but I do wonder how effective
ไม้
it is.
สัตว์ได้เวลาเอาจริง
Favor the 1-4 setup yet again because they didn't show it in the previous round.
All back in towards that rebel contest. Oh, and it's just Talon
สวยตาย
not slowing down. Pushing on through, the shield's been cracked. Killa in for the kills, and
อุ๊ย
now
โอ้โหเกือบหมดไอ้เหี้ย
somewhat of a loss for Nongshim.
Yeah.
3 players are gone off the
อุ๊ย
wayside.
ไอ้ทีมถือปืนนี่น้อง
Cruz
ทีม
as well,
อุ๊ย
jiggling.
ได้ยินเสียง
Minus
ได้ยินเสียง
5 by the minimap.
Oh, Margaret though, he's going to
ได้ยินเสียงหมดเลยครับ
trapwire as
ออก
well.
ก่อนดีเทคแล้วคนได้เยอะคนเยอะกว่าครับออกก่อน
Enough time for Persia to get over here. They should know the killer was low by the spray that they saw earlier on.
หืมกินรัวเลือด
And
มึง
a 2 versus 3 here.
แทบจะไม่เหลือความเป็นคนไล่สัตว์
Fault line flashes, salvos that eventually come online. Just now,
นึ
in
กว่าศพ
fact.
Trying to create some fake presence around the door as well. Salvo's fault line.
อุ้ยโอ้ยตีอยู่กับที่เอาแล้วเบอร์ตีอ่ะ
Yes.
เฮ้ย
เบอร์เซียแม่งโชว์แล้วไง
The shadows on
เก็บไม่
Persia.
ขึ้นเลยเฮ้ย
So still trying to keep himself positioned around. Cage out from Jit Boys, and they're looking to
นี่
push
ไง
out of it.
โชว์เหรอ
There it is. Margaret
โชว์เหรอ
though,
มึง
off
โช
to the
ว์เหร
other
อ
end.
ฮะเปอร์เซีย
Leave a
ไอ้
trade
สัตว์
down to just kill collecting on those heads.
Very,
Talon up to 8, well 9.
very close to being taken out as well, and then that situation wouldn't have been possible, right? So a little bit unfortunate, but a really nice idea on when you open that rotating door over at the A site from Die to take this duel, right? It's shutting down Danby. You also remove the shield of Ivy and the rest of
แต่
your
ไม่มี
team
ใครหันเฮ้ย
approaches the scenario.
มันอันติก็ไม่ได้กะให้ใครหันอยู่แล้วไง
To play retake.
มันอันติให้มันรู้ว่าให้ฝั่งนู้นแบบไม่รู้ว่ามันไปไหนอะคือแบบออกจากไซต์หรือว่าอยู่ในไซต์
Kilo, who, by the way, off of that little kill towards the end, does have the Rolling Thunder online for this round.
The defuse, rather. You got the defuse,
defuse,
so
there you go.
picking it up there. More towards the A side.
And that could be a potential retake or way to push Nongshim away.
เฮ้ย เฮ้ย เรียนอะไรอะบุ๊ก
Nongshim, though,
เ
cutting out noise.
ฮีย A0 B4
More information now as
Buddy.
Talon that you can find. Conceded a lot towards A. Finding a
ชิปหายแล้ว แล้วแม่งเจอดัมบีโอ้ดัมบีวิ่งอย่างนี้เลย เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ย มันวิ่งให้มึงเห็นขนาดนี้ เฮ้ยไปทำอะไรเออะเฮ้ย โหหลอนเลยแม่งหลอนเลย
Where you want to maneuver them around the map, but the ultimate idea is
เก็บหนึ่ง
getting towards this C site. Forced the only soul
ว้าย
back
ผี
to Primi.
เฮ้ยเอ้า
Good saturate.
An attempt at from the shadows from Thai as well, so a little bit burnt,
All the stun.
especially in with
อะไร
trying to go further in,
มึง
but
โชว์อะไรมึง
will shut that down. Now,
ตายไปดิ
utility. Rolling Thunder sent out, and Talon looks to
เฮ้ย
swarm
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยตัวเดียวตัวเดียวตัวเดียว
a lot of these sight lines now
สวย
just
แทงแทง
Francis
แทงดิ
will
เอ
find
อ
one with that last bullet from the magazine, but Cruz cleans things up quickly for Talon to reach a 10th.
Yeah, some unfortunate timing there for Danby
อย่างนี้
as
ใช่อย่างนี้
well,
ใช่
trying to push back.
สองแพ็คนี้สองแพ็ค
Find the space, right? Trying to find the kills as well, but just stunned up. So that's quite unfortunate for him in that situation.
แกเปิดอันติ
He
เฉ
pulls
ย
out
เลยว่ะ
the overdrive, and even Ivy caught out repositioning back towards the site. So a couple of moments where these Nongshim members they're caught off guard just a little bit in an unfortunate situation where there's no trades available. But I flip it on over towards
ดีเล็กสวย
Talon.
จัด
And they're forcing a timeout here for Nongshim, right? They're really starting to play with the rotations, play with the numbers, recognizing their own successes. And if I'm Talon right now, I'm kind of thinking to
ฟอร์ม
myself,
ลุงทีมอย่างกับ
just
ยุค
play
ที่
post
เจอ
plans.
เอ็นวี
Right?
เลย
We're
ว่ะ
finding these members caught a little bit off guard in the timing. So if we're getting quick post plans where we figure out where they're going to be landing, it's not bad so far.
Yeah, especially if they're able to read a lot of Nongshim's intentions for me and that little duel back there. Still though, out of this timeout, what could Nongshim be looking for? Again, you've got the double duelists. They haven't quite been able to make it work as fruitful as they wanted it to. Rubble control has been contested before. You've got a lot of the B and C sites being locked down by the likes of Cruz, maybe Jit Boys at times. And Primi, who still can do so much, especially with that refract at hand. Sitting on his ult as well.
Well, let's go back towards the A site, why don't we? This time we're going to be backed up by
Hey.
Cruz. Does have the
Big nine,
RPG
right?
available. I want to, that's one of the things I am interested for with a comp like Talons, right? The Virgin Pass Armageddon combos, you get destroyed.
100%. Well, for now, though, at least they're on opposite ends of the map, and it's just Danby sliding in.
But
Quick
trade
สวย
trade.
ใต้เทศเร็ว
This team isn't able to, reiterate back immediately. So they've gained rubble control. They've lost their speedway into the site. You can go at it a little bit
โห
slower.
กินรัวเอาไป
with Ivy as
10
well, if he wants to pull someone in towards the Gulag.
I have to imagine that's kind of how you would want to masterfully make use of this, right? Buy some
ชิบ
time
หาย
away
แม่ง
from
แท
some
ง
of
มา
the
แบบเนีย
opponents.
น
You can take Primi away, possibly.
ๆนี่ไง
That's going to be the waylay ult somewhere, and at the same time, Thai now trying to hold them off.
Yeah, they need to get in towards the site though, because it was a
มึง
4
แทงไง
versus
ใส่
4.
ตายเหรอ
They've
มึง
got the site control, but they're looking
แทงใส่ตายก็เสร็จดิ แล้วแทงใส่พิมมี่
Time, by the way.
มึงจะแทงเหรอ
As well for Nongshim.
เปอร์
Kill
เบอร์มึงจะแทงเหรอ
contract.
ยังไงเอาเปล่า
Right now, if they use it in a bad spot, but still
เอาไหมล่ะ
strike down, trying to
มีไหม
reposition up around tree. Primi taking that
มีไหม
duel
สั
up
ตว์
towards baby door. Nongshim beginning to run out of options. Ivy trying to
เฮ้ย
chip
ช่วยดิ
towards
ว้าว
double tap
เต็ม
shield.
ตาเลย
He's blinded as well. sends out the
ก
undercut
ระทืบมัน
just
กระ
a
ทืบมันพลิก
delay.
2 1
Unfortunately,
เฮ้ย
not quite able
เฮ้ย
to
จิต
hold
อย่าเบร
that
ดดิ
tree any further. It's just Francis who
ไอ้จิตแม่งเบรดเว้ย
the back and thigh will find
เฮ้ยมึง
that
เดินเข้ามา
frag
ด้วยกันดิ
off an elevated angle. Talon moving forward into an 11.
Nongshim are really trying to press a little bit deeper to
เหี้ย
find
จิต
some
ถอยหลังเลย
I love the fact that Primi is really keeping Francis in check outside the baby door. I mean, I saw the convergent paths and he's kind of dancing around.
แม่งรอแย่ ไอ้
But
ตัว
he's
แรกอะ
not
ใคร
going
จิม
too
มี่อ่ะ
far forward, right? He's not overplaying his
มึง
own
ไปก่อนเลย
games. He's
เดี๋ยว
stalling
กูเอง
for time for his team to get over here, and he's winning these duels. And ultimately, Ivy is not having success on this
เพื่อน
ISO
ไม่
at
เห็น
the
บูมเห็น
moment. It feels like as soon as Danby is
ใครๆก็เห็นแม่งถอยหลังเฉยเลยเฮียเปิดประตูไม่ถอยหลัง
crumbled a little bit to try and
งง
reclaim
ว่ะ
some space, reclaim some advantage positions.
Oh yes. Talon being able to play this sort of post-plant game. Primi and Cruz.
เฮ้ยไอ้มุกเดิม
Here comes Danby.
เฮ้ยรีเพย์เปล่า
Right there to follow up though.
Oh, but we're gonna get the kill
Okay.
contracts. Will he win it this time?
The one that he did take away is thigh though, so now able to find that one
เฮ้ยใครอะ
right back into it.
เฮ้ยช่วยมีคนดูขวาให้สวย
Spots him with a crosshair placement though. Saturate lands square.
มือพี่มี่กลับมาแล้ว
He might
หวา
have
น
snuck
เจี๊
up in towards the
ย
B
บ
side,
หวาน
but the
เจี๊
spikes
ย
down on the
บ
ground.
วันเจี๊ยบสโมเยลส์
Very difficult
Oh, Don.
situation for him to try and win a 1 versus 3 from, especially now that that door's closed. Here he's to re-navigate around the site, and eventually
โอ้แม่งท็อป4หมดเลย2ตัวนั้นไอ้เหี้ย
you make a decision.
พวกระ
You,
ยำ
you look towards the choke of the A lobby,
And that's
ทำไม
just
กู
the
จง
quick
เจ็ด
thing.
อยู่คนเดียววะ
or if he gets in towards the site and he picks up the spike, well, we're just playing it as 1 versus 3. We should be winning those 100% of the time.
You got the fault line.
ไอ้นี่มีปมตอนเด็กเหรอ เคยโดนประตูหนีบ
The refract.
กลัวประตู
Nah,
เยี่ยเหมือนเรื่องอะไรนั่นเลย
You're also not playing
ที่กู
positions
ดู
as
ซีรีส์
Talon
ที่มัน
right
กลัว
now, where Margaret can
กลัว
really
ประตูวน
find a 1 versus 1. They
อู
all
ยองอู
work
อ่ะ
together. It's really,
คนน่ารัก
really
เลย
nice
เฮีย
like crossfire
กลัวประตูวน
triangulation
where they can
around Rebel
regroup
there.
as well.
เฮ้ย
Now
ลอย
it's
มุม
match
ดิ
point for Talon, looking to
Yeah.
potentially trade each other's moves here.
เฮ้ยเลยเพื่อน
And we do get another look at potentially Fracture. We know big,
Man,
big
pack
one
them deal.
because it's going soon.
ไม่
I
ดู
feel
ไอ้
like
เหี้ย
Vic's not alone on that. Call.
I like Sunset.
Yeah. Oh, sunset.
น่าจะแพ้ไปนะไอ้เหี้ย
Thought you were gonna.
Hey.
All right. Well, we'll see how it all goes when that map does come back in. But for now, at the very least, Talon looking miles ahead with how they were playing as compared to before on
เล่นใน
Haven,
มือถือไอ้เหี้ย
especially with the way they
เอ้ยกูดี
play.
กว่า
Back in towards that rebel control once
Udi,
again, and you've got
Udi, tai
Paranoid and
ah.
everything sent.
เฮ้ยใครดึงคอเสื้อไว้สมาร์ท
Pull off.
Yeah.
กูจะเอาแม่งอยู่แล้วพี่มี่บอก
For the past 2
Oi, kailan
rounds
tayo?
now. This time,
โดนไฟมันจะอ
wrench
ยู่
thrown into the plants.
Definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This time in a game of Valorant, I mean...
วิลลิเคนอาบีกูตามนัดจัด
It's plausible.
เราได้ลึกมากเฮ้ยไปดิแทงเลย
The trip out towards pillars as well, though, and intentionally breaking it.
ผมไม่
Talon
แทงไปเยอะๆวะเนี่ยยืนหนัก3 คนน่ะ
ยังไงก็ได้หนึ่ง
camera still around.
ไม่ก็เสีย3ตะ
ได้
กร้า
หนึ่งแล้วพับฮะ
Now it's just about these timing rotations again.
ไอ้เหี้ยเรายืน
Talon
อยู่
have
3 ใคร
been
ดู
very
สิ
successful in repositioning at these later stages of the rounds to the right spot.
In the later stages, is
โอ้โห
exactly
ดูกล้อง
what they
ดิ
wanna play
ใครจะเงย
Cruz.
อ่ะ
As long as he stays alive,
เมื่อย
he's
อ่ะ
got that Armageddon in hand.
Yep, and now it's going to be
Hài là
towards
chịt.
the C side.
Ôi
The
khổ.
is going to be dispatched.
มึง
So
ยิง
it's gonna
ตา
be
ไม่โดนได้ไง
him in the post plants.
กูจะล่มว่ะ
Trying to play sneaky
โหแล้วโคตรแพน
Still
โอ้ย
though,
แต่โอ้12 แล้ว
how do you
คิวแล้ว
refill back into the site? Where could these Nongshim players be? Certainly thinking
Phải đâu
about
nhỉ?
Mound.
แม่งหลายเคสนะเว้ยจิตวันเนี้ย
Hiding inside of the
ไอ้เหี้ย
smoke,
เดี๋ยว
that's
เบส
something
เดี๋ยวอะไรก็ไม่รู้
might not quite
แพ้เลย
anticipate.
เอาอีก
And Dammy will spring.
เหี้ยเลือด5แม่งออกไปได้
For one against Primi. Now to hold the angle passively against
โอ้ย
will be able to collect onto a
โอ้ย
second killer for the
เฮ้ยโพส
trade.
แพนเฮ้ยเอาดิ
And you also
เอาเลย
have Margaret for the
กูดิ
flank.
เอาครึ่งอ่ะ
Off the timing as well. Does Talon read this? Not
Cudi.
quite. Francis able to hold.
Cudi,
the
son.
able to flick as well, but the
What am
round
I
nonetheless will head on over to Nongshim.
Yeah,
Ôi.
a little bit unfortunate for Primi in that duel. Could have definitely been the one that like kind of closed things around the seaside and made it a little bit more claustrophobic for
Đặtปืน
Nongshim. Have to get
แล้ววันนี้ไม่
towards
ถึง
the
คอ
side.
คิวของ
The
เจเดียน
gun
ลี
bottle.
เฮ้ย
is
ของกู
there,
ของกู
unfortunately,
เต้
but heads up more for Nongshim,
Everything,
able to
Oh.
find the right timing to dispatch Jib Boys in
Maybe
the
lao
side
tụi nó
and
cái
then lock it down, which we haven't really seen them being able to
กด
do.
เขาเรียกว่ากดแรงดึงดูดไงน้อง
You know, on this defensive side, good positions, good shots
กด
coming
แรง
out
ดึง
from
ดูด
Talon.
มันต้องมี
Good work from Primi. a lot of the time.
And a bit of that mental conditioning from Nongshim in towards the A side, working out a treat as well.
Oh, but
And they're looking to do the same thing again.
yeah, the 1-4 setup. Once again, all the utility raining around.
เฮ้ย
Despite
ไอ้นั่น
having
ดิ้น
to
จัด
the back
ดิ้นจัด
with additional
ดิ้นไง
support by everyone all collapsing into this one position where now
ดิ้นเหรอ
get set through. Margaret, if you are him, you're just wondering what just happened. My
เฮ้ยอะไร
teammates are all gone.
มีดมัน
I'm
โอ้โห
getting
ไม่มีดหวะมันยอมแล้วนะ
Final frag to
เอ้ยไอ้
bring
กล้อง
that
ขำ
scoreline
ไอ้กล้อง
down to
ขำ
a
เอ้ยดูไอ้นั่นดิ
13-8.
ไอ้กล้องชอบใจใหญ่
Oh boy. 13 we are trading each other's maps here. We do get the third in this series. People want to fracture. We're going to get it. People wanted to see good waylay play. I will admit it.
Yes.
Right? It was good waylay play from Primi. That's fine. I can sit here, you know, on what's the name? I'll sit here in my comfy analyst chair and I'll just say, you know, Talon.
3 สกิล
And of course to highlight as well,
Okay.
Danby not playing Raze. He is on the Neon.
I do love
เว้ยทีมเดี๋ยวนี้ยิงแม่นแล้วไม่ส่งให้เพื่อนแล้วอะ
using this waylay, which is
ไม่ส่งให้ไอ้พิมมี่แล้วอะ
how waylay was designed as well.
โอ้ไม่มีแล้วไม่มีแล้วโกดพี่ชายอะ
How Nongshim are, gonna
กูเอง
work their way
ดูดิ
across
พิง
this
ไม่หยุด
structure map
พิง
on
ไม่
the
หยุด
back
มั่นใจ
side, playing
มั่น
it
ใจ
very slow and steady.
ลาก่อนเว้ย
This is a little bit
Team.
isolated at the moment. You can get snuck
โชคดีน้อง
up on by Francis into the
เรียบร้อย
stun. You should be dead to rights. No one can trade
อุ้ย
you.
เลี้ยว
but
ไอ้
you
เหี้ย
managed
จังหวะ
to
เลี้ยว
hop on out of that one.
มั่นใจ
Live to
มั่นใจ
fight another day.
มั่นใจ มั่นใจ ใครจะทำไมสัตว์เอาไป
Prevent the rest of the team
เว้ยอะ
from up to Danby,
เฮ้ย
which then
ช่วยหน่อย
pretty much
ช่วย
the
สวย
way to strike back.
เหี้ย
So
ทำอะไรอ่ะ
especially in with that saturate now,
อู้ทีม
อันนี้
อ๋อ
มา
ไม่
จาก
ใช่
collect a lot more space and then for the
กู
rest
กู
of the
เก็บ
team
สอง
to
กู
swoop
เก็บ
down
สอง
towards
ไอ้
that
เหี้ย
final
ไม่มี
player
แล้วโกด
person.
พี่ชา
Talon
ย
picks
อะ
up the pistol.
ไอ้เหี้ยไม่มีแล้ว
I mean, they found the pistol on the
ไม่มีอีก
second
ต่อ
half,
ไป
of course, over on our map of Lotus, but they did drop that round after that one, so maybe we'll see if that happens here or not, or if not, Talon, I mean, a start for the final map here wouldn't
ดู
be
ดิ
too bad.
ดูดิ
We already saw that they had a pretty
ดูดิ
not
จิก
needed
จัด
defensive half, I'm going to say, against Team Secret after their attacking side was pretty much flawless from that 10-2. So we'll see what the defenses are looking like, but I mean, the fact that Cruz is able to get out of there and not lose his life, stunned as well. They have the first protocol to gain tree control, which they want to do yet again.
And that's definitely one of those things where Nongshim needs to be able to read and adapt to Talon's defenses as fast
แล้ว
as
ใครดูหลัง
possible
มึงอะ
right
เฮ้ย
now, just
อีกหน่อย
completely
ทีมคงบอกพรี
running
มี่
it down
เอา
and
โกรธ
sacking it
มึง
into
มา
B
อุ้ย
tower where
อุ้ย
a little bit
เฮ้ย
unfortunate the
เอ้ย
entire
พี่ชาย
is here
เฮ้ยพี่ชายไม่ได้สักตัวเลยพี่ชายพี่
although Margaret will try and attempt for a couple more frags before falling to Jit Boys.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me in terms of stability for Nongshim
Good.
it feels like they haven't really found the right recipe of agents on how they want to play this map though, right? When you're considering kickoff, how they played against DRX, you'll call it a close map in the 13-9, but they had a couple of different agents in the mix, right? Where
กูแลมแจ่มจริง 2-1 เฮ้ย เอ้าลิเวอร์พูล
that's like kind of the
ลิเวอร์พูลไม่เอาแชมป์ไอ้เหี้ย
last time they played it, right? And it was the Rays and we had to swap roles for Francis and for Ivy, so we're chopping and changing a little bit, but it still does kind of emphasize a little bit, you know,
เป็นไปได้
how comfy are we on this map, right? We haven't found exactly the right agents and exactly the right style that we want to be finding for this map against a Talon who may have found what works for them.
3 นาทีเองเอา
At least for now, though, starting things off, they have
มันก็ไม่ได้หมายความว่า
done
ลิเวอร์พูลจะยิง
Talon's
ขึ้นนะมึง
economy.
อาจจะโดนเพิ่มหรือเปล่า
Now hanging back as well, 1-4. Just Ivy to hang out around south side.
And they're not going to really find any momentum up through drop to get out in towards the site. They don't have some crunch control either that they've lost over at the A lobby side of things.
จบเสมอคู่เนี้ย
A little bit more passive up towards the B side of things here, using the rope. Always risky, considering what's creeping up A at the moment.
Yeah, I gotta imagine Ivy with that drone was trying to bait out more of a reaction from Talon, but nothing too
แปด
much
โอ้โห
found.
ทำไม่
Now
ดีจัด
Talon all of a sudden peeks out with that
โอ้
flashpoint.
ย
Primitive
เหี้ยได้
stun
สัก
as
ตัว
well.
นะ
The
สวย
Faultline
เล
will
ย
catch one or two of these players as well. Still though, being able to hold this slight crossfire. Then comes the trades.
โอ้โหแม่ง
Persia
ลุมไม่
able
เนี่ย
to find
สวยทีม
numbers
ได้ปื
for
น
Nongshim.
ได้ปืนครับ
Cruz though,
เอ้ยยังไง
fending off from
ตาย
top
ตาย
as well.
ตรงไหน
Incendiary to stall
สตัน
and
ดี
hit
ครับ
with the special
ถ่ายเบรกไว้
delivery
ก่อน
as well.
ไอทีมออกไปเล่นกับเพื่อนโอ้โห ดีจัดครูเนี่ยประสบการณ์ความรู้ตุ๋ยหลังเลยละกัน โอ้ my ครูฮะเราไม่ให้ปืนใครทั้งนั้นกูเองมันบอกกูเองอันนี้
That's where there are some guns
จิตอยู่หลังพี่
scattered
น้อง
across
พี่เอง
the floor, though, so
งานนี้พี่เอง
see why Talon wants to take this spot, but gotta make use of that weaponry. Cruz
นานอยู่แต่ได้ครับ
to take that burst down against Ivy. 2 on 3 left,
โอ้โห
and there are
ไม่
more
พีไป
guns
สุด
found
ตัว
now,
วะ
especially for Jit Boys.
แต่ดู
But
ตำแหน่งครบนะ
I will get
เบื้องต้น
taken out.
ลบแฟด
So
โอ้ยไอ
need
ที
to
ไม่หลบ
mount
แล้ว
this
เฮ้ย
entire retake out from main.
โอ้โห
It's a little bit tricky.
มาดิ
Angles
มาดิ
easily felt and
เอาไป
dealt
สัตว์
with. Persia now
เอาไป
trying
สัตว์
to hold the angle, but he is kind of
มาดิ
There's one little
เชี่
spot
ย
where
มั่นใจ
Cruz finds a burst.
มั่น
Gets
ใจ
the defuse just in time as well for Talon to pick
มั่
up
นใจ
the
มั่นใจ
bonus.
มั่นใจ
It gets close there, 0.65 at
Yeah,
the end of
yeah.
it. Difference if the spike was maybe planted a little bit more open and Persia
Yeah,
could have
back,
gotten
wow.
out the incendiary. You saw him
เท่า
try
นี้
and
ก็เพียง
contend
พอแล้ว
with
ดิ
it,
ถ้างั้น
but
อะ
you got to do all your trigonometries to be able to try and get that incendiary at the right spot at the end there, it feels like. Quite rough, right? You got a lot of great damage that's being thrown in towards that round by Talon.
โอ้โดนมันวาง
โอ้โหแล้วอย่างนี้
Go
โอ้โหจิต
fast,
เฮ้ย
slow. You got a lot of numbers
ดู
around
จิต
the
ยิง
A side.
เยี่ย
You
ฟัน
got
ซิ
some
ดดิ
really
ไอ
good
ทีมเล็งตัวเลยรู้ว่า
the
เจ็บ
fact that they are grouping up back in towards main to do it together, right? Not just trying to play 3 different angles to try and keep Nongshim locked in towards the site. So yeah, they'll set themselves up nicely on this defensive side. Now this round should be a gimme where
Fun
then
fact
you'll
นะ
also
ลุงแบก
start
ที
to
ไรบรรลัย
consider
ทุกทีเฮ้ย
ultimates coming
ต่าง
in
กัน
towards the next rounds, right? Cruz is one away from the Armageddon.
ดูดิดูพิมพ์ดิ
โอ้
ดูพิมพ์ดิดูพิมพ์ดิพิมพ์พุ่งดิพิมพ์ เอาโดนสโลว์ไปดิสัตว์โดนสโลว์ไปดิสัตว์ เข้ามาดิ
slows Nongshim down as well. Danby
ไม่พิมพ์ไม่พุ่งวะ
couldn't quite do what he wanted to do.
เออ
So back off
ไม่เสีย
towards
ของ
B.
ด้วยไม่เสียพุ่ง
Towards
ด้วยครับ
Bench and Arcade. Margaret is kind of lying in wait as well, but
Yeah.
he's alone.
คนละชุด
The
เว้ย
lurk value at
ชุด
the
นี้ได้
moment
หมด
is
ทุก
not
คน
gonna bring too much
เก่ง
from
หมด
Margaret, unfortunately, because you spot out information as Jit Boys, yes, but you're still running in towards the cypher side.
Yeah, you got all those
ที่
shots
แคปไปดิ
online as
ตาย
well. Kill trip
ขึ้นแบง
found.
บนขึ้นแบงบนอย่าเพิ่งตายมีควันอีกเม็ดนึงไหลหน่อย
Francis with the stinger
ควันอีกเม็ด
picked
นึ
up.
งเฮ้ยจิตจิต
He might have an
ม้วน
all-
เล่นกับเพื่อนจิต
Best opportunity to use it
ม้วนเรา
just
เล่นกับ
yet.
เพื่อนพอครับ
Talon beginning to
ดีเลย
surround them as well.
เฮ้ยมันจะเอาแล้วมันจะเอาจิตแล้ว
Coming out from tree. So in towards
สตัน
tower
ดี
now.
ฮะ
Jit Boys
พอ
takes
กันดี
back a bit more space. Margaret
เฮ้ย
in for the
เฮ้ย
peak. But at this
ยาก
point,
ยากยาก
your Talon,
กู้
you know
ล็อกคนหนึ่ง
exactly where Margaret is.
ล็อกคนห
The
นึ่ง
lone survivor, smoked off, blocked off, and Primi to hold a shorty
ตา
on
เอ๋
the other side. Dives in to find the shot now. Talon
ดูดี
with a clean 4-0 to start this map.
Another cosmetic stun up in
Huh?
this round, of course. I feel like
ไม่ได้
that
ดูมาเลย
definitely needs to be fixed. But 4 out of Talon, again, that's the round that they should
เอาลิพู
be.
3-1
Maybe not so
นั่น
nice
ไง
day with Killer and Jit Boys losing
เพิ่ง
their lives, but
34 นาที
that's
เอง
kind of
พี่
past
ทำไงอ่ะแล้วกูเล่นอ่ะ
Indeed. Really want to see
เพิ่ง
what
34
Nongshim
เอง
are
เนี่ย
gonna
บ้าง
be able to answer back with as well,
ใช้
right?
สูตรกูเลยอ่ะ
Because
สูตรมุม
Danby's
บอก
trying to
แล้
get
ว
on in, trying to find some space. Ivy's still looking a little bit rough at the moment. I know it's a small sample size of rounds on this one so far.
เฮ้ยขอปืนหน่อยดิเฮ้ยเฮ้ย
He needs to
เฮ้ย
bring in some
ไอ
value
เชี่ยเกิดการไม่ไว้ใจกัน
อะไรนะ
One of those important agents.
พี่ใหญ่บอกเอาปืนมาให้กูพวกกาก
เมื่อกดคนนี้มาไปให้แบก
You know, when Francis was playing it specifically against
แล้วกูเจอเลย
you know, you got to remember the
Oh,
value
well,
that they brought
why,
in for
mate?
there, for all the space, for all the duels that he was getting activated in to provide a lot of that space for Danby to get in close proximity and take those fights.
And apart from that, to be
เฮ้ย
able to
ลุง
find
โกรธ
some
ลุง
other
โกรธ
sides as well. I mean, dealing with how Jit Boys has his trip set up.
อันนี้เขาวาดใครนะ
allow for Danby to find easier entry.
นี่ดูนี่
ที่แม่งกลายเกิดอ่ะ
At least for now. At the same time, though, for Talon,
อืม
just for Primi to be able
ไม่รู้
to hold down entire positions by himself, especially
น้องปาล์มวาดให้น่ารักไหม
stun.
If Primi's in a flow state, you don't kind of want to play the map that'll stop him from being able to do so, right? You want to activate him, you want to really set him up for success with the kills to then refract out, or to saturate and go for more.
I mean, speaking of Primi flow state,
หลอกกว่าตัวจริง
just so much of
เอ
this.
อเว้ย
The last time playing this against Team Secret, it was Primi leading the entire kill feed by 17 kills and only 5 deaths.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest highlight for me in that one, that it wasn't necessarily Primi getting the opening kills in that
ถือว่าเป็น
series.
คำชมไง
Jit Boys was finding a lot of
กู
momentum
ก็หลอกไง
there.
แต่อันนั้นหล
Primi
อกกว่า
was looking to lock things down at the end.
แค่นั้นเอง
For now, though, Talon happy to sit passively,
อืม
listening for info coming out from Nongshim.
สวยแล้วว่ะเต้
Once again, stealth drone. This time, bit of a 3-2 split.
And you're going again.
เรียบร้อยโดนไล่โดนไฟไล่เรียบร้อยโดนบีบมาให้ยิงโดนบีบมาให้เสิร์ฟถึงที่เซตอัพบายฟอร์ด vs ยูแล้ว1แล้ว2 5-0 ไปแล้วครับทารอน
Just for Killa to
เป็นไง
collect onto the last two
เจอ
as
แผนที่
well.
71ไอ้เหี้ย
In the new breach Taeho meta, right?
GG.
One of the kind of standard protocols. If you're getting a stun up, you're Armageddoning, you're
ถอยหลังก็ไม่ได้ไปต่อก็โดนยิง
run into a spot where
คิด
they
ไปแล้วครับ
have real time to
โอ้โห
collect what
จิตยิง
angles
เนียน
they need to look after. They can't get utility out. They have to just be gun ready, and it's really awkward. So that is a great little.
เฮ้ยเสียงดังเสียงดังแล้วไอ้เหี้ยอ่านออกวิ่งเหี้ยทีมล่างทองสัตว์ขอแผนออกมาเองเป็นไงขอเครดิตหน่อย
4-1 split in towards bench. Premi with the op all of a sudden now though. Instant shot fired off, instant stun sent back in.
Yeah, and it's not the dash on out for him either, right? It's just run and have it available still with the saturates by the time. Thunder in is going to lock
แต่
him
มึง
in
ไม่
the
อันตี
house.
มันตายไปแล้วเว้ย
The salvos too, man. They just destroyed.
Completely consecrated in with the salvos, like you mentioned. Now Dambi though trying to
Oi,
fire
Sway.
back
Oh,
against
oi.
Talon. Does have a bit more space. But is it safe? That's the question. You still got Cruz somewhere nearby. You got Premi as well, who can do quite a
เหี้ย
bit.
แม่งใกล้โดนว่ะ
Eye in with the incendiaries, not quite sent out either. So all of them just hovering nearby. You've got a minute to work with.
And the thing is, how do you get a plant here as Francis
เนี่ย
to get
แม่ง
the rolling
กูไม่ได้
thunder
ดูกูไม่เห็นแม่ง
to
โล่งๆไอ้
potentially
เหี้ย
get
ไม่มีคนเล่น
Dambi into the fight to win?
ไอ้เหี้ยลืมดูไอ้เหี้ยนั่นไฟลุกกระหน่ำทำมาเซลแล้วแม่ง3
เอ้ยบอกกล้องเฮ้ย
Yeah, that can be used
ไม่มี
to
ซับ
buy time when you want to go for the
ไม่
plant,
มี
but
หมูอยู่ข้างหน้า
set up Dambi here.
ไอ้หมอ
Trying to at least, but you can already see Talon back.
อุ้ยอ้อมเสียงติโอ้พี่ฟ้าเสียงติ มี
มี
cover อยู่ครับโอ้
He's by
ลุง
himself
ทีม
despite the stuns. Cruz
เฮ้ย
able to
เฮ้ย
cover.
ไม่แทงออกไปอ่ะเอ้า
Just
ยังไม่ได้วาง
Francis now. Oh, he got off the spike plant. 1 on 3.
Oh,
All of them right in front of you, and it's just thigh with the op shot through into
เฮ้ย
his
ขอบคุณ
head.
ครับน้องลิตเติ้ล
Dambi has not been able to find really
โดน
anything,
จับ
but I
เอา
think
โดนจับ
more
เรื่องอะไรอ่ะ
importantly, I'm most impressed
เอ้า
by
หมอปลอ
how
ม
quick Talon are getting out these combos of utility. When the rolling thunder is there, just look how quick Killua and Cruz are with the aftershock, with the salvos, just at the right spots as well to again push Nongshim out into a really
Oh, I listened to those comments as
difficult
well.
position. I know. Like, how do they get out of that? Up the rope into a potential player in heaven as well? Like, a tower, it's just not working for
ไอ้
Nongshim.
เหี้ยลุงทีม
Working
โห
for
ดจัดเลย
Nongshim.
ว่ะ
Working out incredibly well for Talon.
เละเลยนะแล้วเป็นทารอนนะได้เข้าไปต่อแน่นอนเพย์ออฟ100,000%
Further splits 2-2
บอกแล้ว
Given
คือ
the
แม่ง
fact
ไม่
that
ควร
they
แพ้
don't
เว้ย
have
RQ
buys
อ่ะ
in this round, this makes sense.
More of a default for them. They can play on the back of the passive approaches here with the pistols that they're expecting that aren't necessarily going to be too
ไม่เป็นไรเดี๋ยวไปตบทีวัน
quick
เอา
up in your face. And as long as they're playing the distance game, right? And spotting out if anybody of Nongshim are getting close to you, you'll be okay in this sort of round to continue this flawless defensive run.
Precisely.
เฮ้ยเอาไม่ดิจิต
Gathered.
แล้วมึงขึ้นมาไอ้สัตว์โอ้ย
Ooh, bit of a
เปิด
burst out
เปิด
from
ควัน
Nongshim.
ไม่โดนไอ้เหี้ยโดนแฟด
Boys, that is a weapon
ตายหนึ่ง
picked up, but Premi
เฮ้ยใครอ่ะ
back in with the op. Feeling a bit of a pinch though.
โอ้โห
There's
มัน
the
โดนสตัน
stun.
อยู่
He
ดี
does
เว้ย
send
ไม่
it
รอ
out,
ด
but also coming up from the back, it's going to be Ivy who takes Premi out.
โดนสตันอยู่ดีฮะ
2 on 4.
อุ๊ย
A bit of
ตาย
opportunity for Nongshim to turn this around on its head.
Now they've got Armageddon and
เชี่ยแล้วไม่เหลืองครู
Okay.
ไม่เหลือครู
Ivy, though, tries to flush a player out of position with that
ครู
incendiary, but
ครูสวยครู
Salva's back in as well,
Ui,
and that's going to be the
cru,
frag. So back to a 2-on-2.
มีอัน
Thigh
ติ
with
ไล่
his own orbital as well.
เฮ้ยไล่
We
ใคร
know where
วะ
Margaret is though.
No, not at the moment. By their positioning, but
โล่
they're going to
ง
start
ๆ
to
เลย
clear
ตรงนั้น
things and try and bait out Ivy with the salvos and the
ได้ครึ่ง
That's going to be Tree
อุ้ย
now
ทีแม่งแหลมจัด
half defused.
Margaret coming back in
เฮ้ย
slowly.
เสร็จเลยเอาเสร็จได้เลยไม่ทันมันไม่ทัน มันไม่ทัน
Somewhere.
มันไม่ทัน
Armageddon sent down.
วู้
Crew sticks
เหี้ยทีมโคตรฉลาด
the end of it.
สมแล้วที่มีเกียรตินิยม2 ใบ
Collapses onto it. Op shot found as well.
อะไรนะ
Talon
เกียรตินิยม2 ใบ
sitting
คืออะไร
on
วะ
top of
บอกมาหน่อย
7-0.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate that Ivy isn't able to get that one out as quick as possible. I mean, I saw the salvos coming, right? There's time for you to get the half defuse there as well. And then there's wind-up time on the Armageddon. Yeah, you can try and get it as close
ไม่
as
เป็นไร
possible
มั่วๆไปแล้ว
to the spike, but
มัวๆไปแล้วก็ไปเลย
really quickly
นัวไปเลย
accumulated. that Cruz can stick that one there, and this flawless run really starting to become a problem for Nongshim.
Yeah, especially given how all of those ultimates were already spent.
เอาไปก่อนเนาะเอาไปว่าฉลาดแล้วกัน
4-1 setup, Sky smoking their way.
Primmy's essentially just locking down all of Arcade at the moment with the operator yet again. You've got a forward line being held by Thai in towards A main. Now you're bringing out drop. So you've essentially cleared 3 positions around the map as Talon. Here's some info around A, but again, you've just got the trap.
แชมป์รัวๆจริง
Stun sends them back.
จะตึงจัด
For some more information.
2-1-1-3-4
Stacking up in towards main. Nongshim though trying to backpedal.
And as Talon right now, you're trying to funnel them in towards more of where your traps are. It's either 3 players contained around lobby, or you're going into a B site where you've got Jip Boys with his traps available. And you've got Primmy pretty close with the ultimate to bail them out.
Nongshim were trying to deal with some of these traps, especially with the Selva's out from Ivy, but
โอ้ไม่ตายโอ้ตาย
Selva's
บ้ามาก
just alerted to Jit Boys just aware.
ดูตายดิ
And now the
Ow.
only option left
พี่ใหญ่ล่วงไปแล้ว
towards A main where Thai is able to hold. Dambi though
แม่งหลบ
almost for the burst.
อุ้ยแม่งเอา
Coming
โอ้ย
back in for the slide instead. Back into a 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Off to the races into the site.
To get the plant here because the flank rotate is eventually coming out for Primmy, for Jip Boys. Here comes the ult.
โดนดิโดนดิโดนดิพิมมี่มาโอ้โหพิมมี่ตบแบบตบเน้นๆแล้วอยู่ไกลจัดมากาเล่นอยู่ไกลจัดมากาเล่นอยู่ไกลจัดเอ้ยอะไรย่องอะไรย่องอะไรหนุ่มย่องเหรอย่องเหรอย่องอะไรย่องอะไรก่อน
Man, the fact that Primmy immediately Dambi in the convergent pass, he just funnels right on towards him, and then you recognize, hang on a second, Margaret's just been seen over at Sans. He got the trade. I can just stick this defuse. It doesn't matter if I die after time. We've got the round, and we are absolutely laughing. That is an 8-0 flawless run so far. I'm kind of questioning a little bit this veto right now from what we're seeing from Nongshim on this attacking side.
Would prefer it if they went to the icebox?
Potentially so. Potentially so.
เฮ้ยรู้อะไรไม่เท่ารู้งี้ ตลาดให้1จ่าย2แบบเน้นๆน่ะ2ฝ่า
And the real struggles that we've seen from Nongshim against DRX and previously as well, right? Like, I don't think there's much you can do in a timeout like this with the way that Talon are rotating around the map and what angles they want to challenge together as a team and how they want to clear in the beginning, in the middle, in the end.
It's also one of these scenarios where you're heading into this without much information, without much intel as to how Talon plays on the defense, kind of like what the desk
โดน
mentioned.
เซตหย่อ
Big Time was saying, you know, Dambi, do not fear my
แล้ว
son.
วันนี้ถูกหมดเลยอ่ะ
It is what
แล้ว
it is
บอกเลย
right
แบบว่า
now. The timeout's being called. We'll see.
ราคาตลาดดีทั้งสอง
Read
อ่ะ
about this.
ทั้งสองใช้ว่าทั้งสองนะ
I mean, it has to
Bah.
be right now. It has to be the 8-4 half for Nongshim. It has to be the pistol in the second round because we've already seen destruction from Talon on attack.
Possible answer off of the timeout. They're looking to take more space around Arcade, possibly to find a pinch onto what has been one of the bigger problems, Primmy, in with a sniper.
But he's not there this time.
Don't laugh at me,
No operator to look at the line. He's going to be running the outlaw.
And that's just the read from Talon. Adjustments back in, triple stack, now they're pushing in a tree.
Yeah, they're retaking some space to make things a little bit more workable for them come a post plant.
Okay, still though, with the site relegated to Nongshim,
มันดูถูกไทยแลนด์
team is happy to try to get the spike down somewhat for free.
Okay.
Utility
แม่งให้
spent
เลท
here
มา
and
แบบ
there, but
หมดสัว
avoiding
เว้ย
the trips for now.
No ultimates here for Talon, right? So this is a straight up 5 versus
ล่าสุด
5
มันก็โดนมา
standard
ไม่ใช่เหรอ
utility gun round.
Where you got Margaret sneaking out from the back as well. If his timing is
เฮ้ยตาย
pristine,
ตายใครอยู่ข้างหลังอะ
could find advantageous numbers for Nongshim, and there it is, 5-on-4.
Still got to clear a lot of these angles though, and that's time that works to Nongshim's favor.
เช็คขวาไหมจิต
Slowly
โอ้
clearing out from top. Rest of the Talon squad moving upwards from tree, but instantly found by Dambi. Just Killua left.
อะไร
He
อะ
knows
ไม่
where
ลาว
his
นี่เหมือนไม่
opponents
มีอะไร
are.
เลย
He's
อะ
alone, and without much utility, there's not much
โด
that
น
he
แบบ
can do. Francis to find the
โดน
simple
แบบ
trade
ยิงหลัง
to put
รั
Nongshim
ว
on the board.
Finally there, converting on the back of their timeout. They do so quite nicely up in towards the site, and I don't know if it's the idea of Talon to
โอ้
wanting to
หนอง
take
ทีม
the
ชนะ
trade
คิว
space,
อ่ะ
or
เอา
if
ดิ
they feel like they're forced to because of
แชร์ได้ไงวะ
the haste pressure that is built up at the arcade area. regardless, you know, you got to be clearing your corners when there's a Taeho in play. They might not necessarily be on the site. A map like Fracture, you've got a lot of these longer lines that you can fall back towards for the likes of, you know, a Breach, a Taeho, a Brim if they've got the
IQ โคตรโห
lineups.
ด
Also around where Nongshim didn't have to spend too much
Hột
utility
khoai.
to get into sight. So,
But can they do it again? I mean, you got to consider, right? They have to be consecutive now on this attacking side.
that is the question. Nongshim trying to pull off a similar strategy, but on opposite ends of the map. So 1-4, slow creep up into tree. Talon, though.
This time it's not proactive information gaining from Talon. It's more on the passive, shouldering approach, waiting for Nongshim to get in, and then they'll act.
Precisely, especially with
Fight!
those trips at hand.
สวย
Jit
ตาย
Boy still angering down the
เต็มๆ
site, and you also do have Thai right around the corner. Cruz as well. If you
เข้ามาดิ
or an Altdorf, that's gonna be
เฮีย
on
อยากจะขึ้นมาอยู่นั่นแหละแล้วดูตายดิดูตายยังได้หนึ่งครับและจิตเอาไปอีกหนึ่ง
Surprised as heck. Francis able to find at least just
Team.
one. But here comes Cruz out from the spawn area.
ไอ้ที่นี่ใครวะ
finding those frags.
เอ้ยมึงดูนี่ใครเล่นอยู่เวอร์
Cruz as well in the next round, one away from the orbital from Thai. So you think about this is the second last round of the
ไม่ใช่
half. You
อะ
got the last round of the half. You know those ultimates can be pretty impactful to get you the win condition. So it's just back to the old Talon. Working the map really nicely, getting a good idea on the positions, and then at the end of it, when they do relinquish control of the site towards Nongshim,
ไปว่ะ
just playing the angles, ready
ไม่ค่อย
with their
สุดทีเลย
crosshairs
เนี่ย
at
โด
the
น
right
รัว
spots, adjusting for the kills.
Certainly looks really comfortable for Talon right now, but we'll see if Dambi, possibly with this overdrive,
ได
could
นาโม
force them into some discomfort.
Yeah, but the thing is, the team really needs
โอ้
to
ไอ้
set
เก่ง
up
ไอ้
Dambi
เก่ง
with
เซตอัพ
the
เยอะชิบหาย
overdrive or with the Vandal to find an open
มีปล่อย
kill and
มี
then
นู่นมีนี่ไอ้เหี้ยลูกเล่นมันเยอะจัด
They're sitting tight
ชิบ
for
หาย
now,
แล้วเฮ้ย
trying to bake
เหี้ย
some
โดน
utility
ส
out
เป
with
ชั่น
Talon, but still that's where they
มั่ว
get caught.
มั่ว
Persia
มั่วไปก่อน
unfortunately gunned down. Dambi
ดู
trying
มี
to
อะไร
slide on
พูดแล้ว
through,
ลุง
but
ทีม
Cruz
ครับ
and Thai
ลุงทีม
all
มาช่วย
expect it. Finding those shots, finding those
โอ้
frags. It's down
เฮ้ย
to
เฮ้ย
Francis
อะไร
who
วะ
finds one and two outside of the smokes.
เฮ้ย
That's the Rolling Thunder. Sends it through, but Talon avoids it. Now backed into tree. No smokes available.
แม่งเอาโกง
Still
เลย
is
แต่ไม่
tough
เป็นไรครับ
for Nongshim to get the spike down
คน
safely.
นำอยู่ดี
Ivy is low.
แล้วมัน
30
เจ็บด้วย
HP for him. They will dodge a bit of this early utility.
แล้วจิบ
So
มาแล้ว
can
ไอ้เหี้ย
use
ขยับ
the
ตัว
orbital
เร็ว
if he
มาก
does want to, but it's the 2 versus
แล้ว
3
เมียนตีเบรกอีกยังไงก็ไม่ได้วางและจิตถึงแน่นอน
by the orbital.
จิตถึงแน่นอน
Allows
มั่นใจ
Jit to start to get that flank a little bit
ไปจิต
closer.
เดินได้แล้ว
Timing for Jit Boys.
จิตเฮ้ย
Knows he can play it safe.
ใครจะเช็คงึง
At least for now, fault line sent out.
เวลา
But
เขา
all with the
ใส่เสื้อเลยเว้ย
peak, Thigh just
Cypher,
holds it
hey.
down right.
อ้าวพี่เล่นอ่ะ
Francis,
ดูดิ
one
Kick
against
ช้า
three.
ไป
Desperately tries to go in for the flicks, the peaks, but still quad being found by Thigh.
Every single duel that Nongshim found themselves in that round was essentially a 1vx scenario, right? Pushing out, the members of Talon were just ready in crossfires of some sort, whether they're holding hands for the later ones or the ones in the middle of the round, they're just ready. The fact that Francis finds those two, okay, outliers, right? Didn't see them going for pot shots, they happened. Really well positioned round from Talon
เล่น
there.
นะความ
The only consolation prize in that round has to be just Persia finding some shots outside the sky
ดูได้
smokes.
ไม่
but
เท่าลุงนี้ดูได้ไม่เท่าลุงนี้
Last
เสียดาย
round
มา
of the
จ้า
first half now, and they're
Aye.
looking to just dump everything into tree, into this
Ủa, mấy
B
solo đi
site,
chặt
but
à,
they
Phi
get
My?
slowed down.
Yeah, that is a huge counter to Dambi's speed and haste to just get
Ê, ê,
towards
chỉ
this
ở đây.
side.
Well, he does kick things into overdrive and just continues forward, though.
Ow.
Clears out tree, Margaret finds one in towards canteen, and that's Nero.
ไอ้จิตบอกใครติดวะเมื่อกี้แถบอะกูหรือเปล่า
Themselves a couple of seconds to slow it down.
But you
If
could
Ivy
tap
does
the
get
ball.
one kill here, Quacky will have Armageddon.
Okay, Cruz knows that he's got it tripped. Has to watch out for potentially where Margaret could be, but at the same time, you've got Dambi continuing for it as well. This throws Talon off balance, trying to reclaim some space
โอ้โหตาย
outside
โอ้
canteen
โห
now.
ตายกันรัว
Killua able to
ตายกัน
find
รัว
it.
โหดจัด
Was there a flash?
แล้วดูลุง
Still
ทีม
no
ดิ
now
ดูลุงทีม
salvos
เล่นดิ
just to buy a
ดึง
bit
มา
more
สองอะ
time. Cruz
ดึง
playing
มา
off a timing, but no. He's been spotted out and gunned down by Margaret. Thigh for the trades, and with the spike ticking away, Thigh just continues to flush it down. Nongshim to collect back onto a second round win.
Well, you flipped the way in which Talon did it, but it's another 10-2 half
ตายดู
here
จริง
on Fracture, seemingly a map that they are extremely comfortable on. Of course, for those that might have missed it, it was against Team Secret that I'm making this reference to, where Talon had 10 rounds on the attack, kind of destructive as this was of what they're running, right? stuns from Killua, impeccable so far. You've got stuns from
Man, you
Cruz,
almost
we've seen a
got-
couple come through.
Primi.
More importantly, Primi on the waylay. The saturates, I mean, pretty much all of them that
Yeah.
we've seen have hit Danby.
I wonder if we have a tracker for that, but you know what? We're
วัน
starting
นี้แม
things
น
off
ตี
with
ดิ
the
เฮีย
second
อะ
half.
ดรีนาลีน
Let's
มันหลั่ง
go
เว้ยวัน
Nongshim.
เนี้ย
Already trying to
สู้
gun
เพื่อ
up
เดอะ
for
บอย
some
อ่ะ
information.
เฮ้ยเดินเบาหน่อยเดินเบาหน่อย
Three
เฮ้ย
Cruz knows that
โอ้
he's
ย
in a bit
เฮีย
of a
ทรง
hot
เหมือน
seat
จะ
right
ตาย
now,
แหล่
so
ไม่ตายแหล่แม่ง
zip
รอด
lines all the way over onto Dish where he will rendezvous with his team. Here
200
comes
นะฮะ
Primi. Light speed
อุ๊ย
onto
มี
top.
มาวาง
He's sticking the plant.
แล้วออก
They've got a lot of posts
ออก
for
ดิ
the
Could still be
ไม่ออกอ่ะ
shock salvos, but they have to use them now early that Primi's gone.
Yeah,
Off
there's the
defused.
aftershock. Gets Margaret away off of the spike. Persia still trying to hold close with his off angle where Talon might not expect him. Oh, Killer
Incendiary.
jumps down, and now the defuse gets stuck all the way through. Dambi picking up the round for Nongshim without, kills truly found. Persia now still spamming all the way, just trying to collect as much as possible.
Yeah, it's very big,
Hey, they make
pistol
the tank
EDG
fight,
vibes to come
yeah,
through on
makes
that
that
one,
thing,
right?
yeah.
Where last time we got to see Fracture when we had the waylay,
Yeah,
we saw them
Makaleta
get
Moon.
quickly
Ah,
in
kung dahil
towards
po
the
ay
B side.
MBM na.
Similar idea where you
Ay,
just
got
get your waylay right on in to provide you with the plant, and then you've got a lot of that post stalling. Though I don't think they expected Margaret to be able to get it to half as quick as they did, right? They're still trying to set themselves up after going contact in through the
ส่งของได้ไหมเนี่ย
drop location, in through Dish
สมได้
to
ไหม
get up.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ย
You
เฮ้ย
know,
เฮ้ย
all,
เฮ้ย
all
เฮ้ย
the utility, the aftershock, the salvos, the incendiary.
So execution maybe needed to be tweaked a little bit.
If it was
still.
2 milliseconds earlier, it would have
Yeah,
worked.
possibly. But you're happy if you're Nongshim on this one. Dambi now in with the Outlaw, takes out Cruz, locks out this dish position.
Yep. You're going to funnel
Yeah,
them back
with
on
the-
over to the other side of the
Yeah,
map,
but
in
some-
towards
yeah.
the trap that you've got Margaret. And
หมาก็เลย
a couple of the supporting cast here
Margaret.
from Nongshim as well. He smokes
เฮ้ยใครอะใครอะ
from
ทัน
Persia,
หัน
Francis as well. Just running in with the ghost for this round.
Certainly. At least though for Talon to try to regroup, going to these CQB positions.
ว้า
Who
ว
are able to take down Margaret. And that could be spike
บากาเลต
planted.
โดน
This
เส
is
ก
where
เล
things
ย
get a little bit awkward, yeah, because it is lesser weaponry.
เอาได้ผลแผ่นเอาเฮ้ย
Well, actually, you haven't given them the plant, so they can't establish it now.
Good little spam coming
ยิง
out
โดน
from
ได้ไง
Francis.
วะ
Hey, how about that? Now Ivy to hold canteen.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยจะตายยะจะตายยะ
Trying to scramble. Primi though, very close
Oi.
range, but unfortunately out of the smokes. Instantly spotted. Just Jit Boys, and this is the round done.
Hey, you got the plant. I think you're okay with that as Talon.
เฮ้ย
A little bit more extra
Do they- do
money,
they-
some
do they-
comp points.
เท่าที่ดูนะ
Nonetheless.
ที่นี่กากคนสุดละก๊อปปี้แคท
Talon for Nongshim to strike
ค
back
นน่ากลัว
against
เลยเนี่ย
Talon.
ก๊อป
Well, they
ปี้แคท
essentially have to copy the successes of Talon, right?
โอ้ย
You
นี่
know,
ตัว
they
นึง
have to get not just all the rounds in a row that
Yeah,
they
deep
managed to
ball.
do
Jack, Jack,
in eight,
Jack,
but
Jack.
the way in which they were doing
Jack,
the
Jack.
balancing
Jack,
of
Jack.
their own economy to ensure that they've got buys upon buys, changing positions. You know, a lot of those successes were the 1-1-3s or the 4s that are taking a lot of the space in towards like A, or good decisions for some arcade holds as well. You know, Primi, huge success on a lot of those spots to lock it down, get activated in the duels.
คนน่ากลัวเฮีย
At least so far in these two attacking rounds, it's not really quite there yet.
So this is going to be a really important one for Nongshim to try and get back in towards this game first and foremost. You know, 1 foot in front of the other.
Fair enough. Primi though, oh, so quick. Lightspeed and Ivy was not prepared for this.
No, and I mean the kills for Primi don't really show it too hard at the moment in, the 7 I believe he's got so far. But the space and the pressure that he's built for his team here.
Right? All of a sudden, look at the mini-map. Nongshim's thinking, I got to stack up on this A site. And that leaves V a little bit more open. Cruz beginning to investigate. I think he spotted out Dambi. A possible pinch out from Jit Boys now, but Dambi with the movement! What is that?
It's what we were missing. It's what he loves to do on this Neon.
What is that?
Primi's not around to slow him up or...
Oh, regen shield for now, so he's down to about
Oh, what
30.
is
You could still down to a
that?
single bullet, and
Yeah, but-
Cruz is hunting for him.
You don't know that Cruz has slipped through here, unfortunately.
นี่ไงไหวกับทีมปะล่ะ
It's all the
ดู
space,
การ
it's
เดิน
all
ดิ
the call. They
เฮี
can
ย
set themselves up for a
ไหลอย่างกับน้ำไม่
Do they have
สัตว์
intent? They can plant wherever they want.
Fault line, incendiary,
Yeah,
salvos
back
again.
good.
Just gotta make sure that Nongshim
คือ
does
หนอง
not
ชิม
stick
โด
the
นใน
spike.
ทีม
That's
อ่าน
actually
แบบ
too.
Okay.
ขาดเละเทะเลยครับ
Well,
รู้
if
ว่า
he
จะ
is
ทำอะไร
within
ยังไง
range,
ส
Primi
มอง
at
แน่น
least
มาก
for
ครับตอน
now
นี้
trying to hold out
โอ้ย
towards south side. Nongshim all towards the north. We do have Francis around Canteen, and he's trying to set something up with possibly a flashes in the fault line. He's got a full kit.
Yep. They
Gotta help out tower at least.
Gotta get a wriggle on.
There's the fault line. Cruz gets ahead of it, but
ส
still
อง
Margaret
ตัว
able to
แม่
find
งตะโกน
frag.
2 ตัว
Now
สอง
Francis
ตัว
น่ากลัวนะอันนี้น่ากลัว
Here
นะ
comes Primi
ใคร
in with a stun. Somewhat lands, not quite. They
Body block incendiary.
dispersed.
บล็อกไฟเหรอมึงบล็อกไฟเหรอมึงไปคู่เลยบล็อกไฟเหรอมึง
Still Primi able to find the
เชี่
frag
ย
at the end of it. Talon will move forward to 11.
รีเพย์ให้เมื่อกี้กล้องบัง
Find the first
ดูดิบล็อกไฟ
with
บล็อกไฟ
a stun.
บล็อกไฟครับ
Somewhat lands, not quite. They
Body block incendiary.
dispersed. Incendiary lands just in the nick of time, and still Primi able to find the frag at the end of it. Talon will move forward to 11.
Attempted body block of it.
มันจะจบไม่สวย
It kind of, you know, doesn't have any weight in the round, really, does it? Because the post is just that much stronger from Talon.
อ่ะกูดิอันยองนามาชิตะ
But
อันกูดิอันยองนามาชิตะ
เฮ้ย
I went for the TikToks.
เฮ้ย
อะไรวะ
ใช้ยันตี2 ทีเลยเหรอ
Yeah, you need
ไม่ใช่
the
เพื่อน
round. 4-11.
อันนั้นไม่เหลือคนสุดท้าย
Surprise up.
you can't make a mistake as Nongshim. You absolutely cannot. You go for a little bit of a soft
ตับติด
handshake
เหรอ
towards
อันนี้
the
2 ตับติดหรืออะไร
tree. You reposition yourselves as well for an arcade, and you see
Yeah,
nobody
2
there.
ตับติด
The last possible few.
เหี้ย
ดูด้วย
มุกซ้อนมุกไอ้เหี้ย
Camera for
พังกู
Talon.
ดิ
อันยองนามาชิ
เต้
ตะ
ทำไร
Camera for Nongshim as well into her
เต้
team.
ทำไรเฮ้ย
This should give
สวยไรเต้
Nongshim
เล่น
an
นี่เล่นละ
idea on where Talon are around the map, right? You don't see anything north side. You've not got your trap wire popped over at drop, so you know that they're either B at tree or they're A lobby. And the bait plays at the moment are trying to draw rotations towards this B site.
Be entirely right about both.
And Nongshim are second guessing themselves. This is a fake
นี่
bait.
เห็นปะเห็นปะไม่มี
Oh,
ไม่มี
that's
แค่เอา
exactly
ข่าว
what he can do
มีมี่
as
ไม่เคย
the
ตายฟรี
Waylay.
ครับ
This is beautiful for Talon.
But now Nongshim
ไม่
are
เคย
starting
ตาย
to
ฟรีครับ
rotate back to the B site
ไปเอา
where
ข่าว
Talon
เฉย
are looking to transition to.
Yeah, they're already in position in terms
Get
of
me
timing. Talon's
Get
kind of
me
got the
เรียบ
drop
ร้อ
on
ย
this
ไอ้
one.
ทีมนี้ตอนนี้
Next,
เจอ
then
หน้า
Cruz
ใคร
finds
ตาย
a
หมด
trap on towards
ใช่
Francis. Persa though,
ไปละ
alongside Jambi and Ivy trying to anchor down. 30 seconds and Talon has to push up. Relay bolt and that slows them down. You're running out of time, Talon. Persia in for the spams. Orbital strike ripped and ready to let go. But Jambi holds the slight sliver. Double found. Persia again. Find out the frag. Everything counts, but
โอ้
on the final one. Persia stands tall.
ไอ้ที่มาตาย
For giving that one a good crack. You also understand why he wants to try and get that spike plant down. Just not expecting Persia at the end there. Imagine a world
โอ้
in
โห
which
ตาย
that
กว่า
was
บี
able
22
to clutch that one through. Oh my lord, I would have jumped out of my chair. But for Nongshim fans,
โอ้เดินเพลินๆเลย
it's
ฮะ
not over just yet, right? They haven't seen
Ui,
Talon
yeah.
get to rounds number 12. They've still got a sliver of
Ui.
space here. They can provide themselves in the map. And what some successful early conditions are going
โอ้
to
ย
be.
เปอร์เซียบอกไอ้
Gathering
เหี้ย
the
อย่าง
map
นี้ดิ
control
เฮ้ย
at, you know, 1 or 2
เปอร์เซียบอกอ
locations
ย่าง
around the
นี้
map,
ดิ
seeing if Talon are going to be there.
เฮ้ย 4-1 เว้ย
These are the rounds that,
4-1
you know, you want to just hold everything towards the
4-1
next as well,
เฮ้ย
given that it is the
เป
pistols
อร์
on
เซียเฮ้ย
Talon.
ใจเย็น
It is possible. Well, we will start off with.
Oh.
เฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยเฮ้ยโลกโลกโลก
At least
Sorry,
still with
Moon.
the relays will
Oh.
comfortably find Jit Boys. Meanwhile, Talon looking to aggress into
เรียบร้อยตาย
Saturate
เฮ้ยเข้าไป
finds
ดิ
its mark yet again. Margaret though, it does take a bit of time, and now he's
โอ้
back
ไม่
on the
เข้า
line. He finds the collateral. In with the Phantom.
โอ้
In with the
มัน
third
ลอย
kill.
อยู่กลางอากาศ
Down for
เมื่อ
one
กี้
apiece.
Yeah, even whilst hindered though, the cage is providing enough protection for him to just get out of dodge there and hold true. Gotta say, you know, it was against those pistols, right? So these are the sort of rounds that you really shouldn't be losing too much. They'll only say goodbye to Persia in that round, so it's one gun that they need to buy on up. But more importantly here, Quack, it's these gun
ใครเป็นไร
rounds
ใครเป็นไร
that they
ใคร
have
ตะโกนอะไร
to have a really good grasp on what space around the map they want to hold, or how to re-get space if they give anything up and Talon find it.
There's quite a bit that you could possibly do if you're Nongshim though. I mean, well, ultimates are beginning to come online for both teams. Nongshim a little bit closer. Armageddon, Orbital, all very useful.
Stealth drones being exchanged. Defensive side up through the dish that'll get destroyed, but the one over to the B side for Talon all the way to find all of the info and space. Dambi just
แล้ว
caught
มา
unawares
แห้งๆเลย
off
แล้วมีแอน
guard.
ตี้ครับจิตบอยจอยบิด โอ้
Now you've
คิด
got
เร็ว
all
ทำเร็วฮะ
information from this neural theft to potentially even just speed things up to B. And look at
โอ้
that
ดูเดินดิ
immediately
โอ้
being
เรียบ
sent in
ร้อย
there.
เอาแล้วไม่ปล่อยวิ่งเป็นอย่างนี้อะ
Masterful
ประตู
play
เปิดดัง
and
โค
the
มเมื่อกี้
stars
เอาเฮ้ย
allow Talon to set this up into a series point. Margaret
เฮ้
though.
ย
สัตว์
will try his darndest to fend that off.
ทำเลยกัน
Down as he holds the off angle against B tower.
ไม่มี
His own neural threat being sent out as well.
By God,
Now beginning
by
to
God.
peek
สวย
out,
ทีม
catch them unawares, but still,
แพ้แล้วนะ
Cruz and Thigh happy to hold a bit of a high-low to find that 12th for Talon.
There was a time limit there for Jit Boys as well to come for the flank, so that's why they're going for the 2 versus 2 tower play, but low on HP and not really able to find it. Map point, series point here
ดู
for
จิตดิจิต
Talon.
เขาเดือดอะทำไมพวกมันปล่อยเกี่ยวทั้งที่ประตูเปิดดังโคมเมื่อกี้
Just an incredible round, especially coming out from Jit Boys. So a little bit unfortunate for Dambi
โอ้
to
จิต
kind of get
จิต
sussed
แม่ง
out.
ดุควายเลยเฮีย
That's the price that you gotta
เอ้ยดูดิดูดิ
Talon.
เชี่ยโดนกูเลยโดนกูเลย
Dambi pulling out the off.
ไม่มีนะ
Yeah,
เมื่อก่อน
something that was really
เมื่อก่อนยุคไอ้บ้านนี่
Primi
เงียบ
can
กิ๊บ
get on a couple of lines and be a bit of a scare tactic as
Đâu
well.
có
Right now,
lệ.
Dambi's going to dispatch of Primi,
ยุค
so
ไอ้บ้านเงียบกิ๊บ
400 อ่ะ
bit of a
Oh,
difference in
แค่ไหนก็แค่นั้น
duelists.
อะ
I wouldn't call it a duelist diff though.
At the very least, it is one less problem to deal with.
Correct.
Fault line as
Cái này
well
tệ.
now, just to
เลดี้
keep them
Cái giặc
invested
lên
towards
แบบ
a lobby.
ปิ่มๆไม่ใช่
You gotta remember too, you talk
Cái
about
tỉm
ult
mấy sao?
starting to come online, right? Look at what Talon have to play with. They don't
Sao bật
need
bên
to
lời.
invest them here.
อุ้ยโหได้
But if
500
they
เนี่ย
do, they will get them back if
Đúng
not
rồi, đây này.
this deep gauntlet.
Always got to watch for Francis, though. He's been one of the pivotal players, especially when he's holding up towards Canteen
Tiên
right
Ui.
now, undetected,
Ao vào,
still
ao
hiding
vào.
in the sky smoke. Dambi might have been flushed off, but he
เอ้ย
repositioned on the drop.
เอ้ย
And that's going to be
Ui.
Jit Boys cleaning things up just a bit. You
Ủa,
got
đánh
the
vào
Salvos
cả.
as well,
Ui, bên
and
này
possibly
rồi.
flush Francis out of position now, and that's going to be the fault lines
เซนเตอร์อย่างเงี้ย
kind of already eliminated. Now back into
เอ้า
the
เรา
side.
ไม่ระวังเลยว่าเพื่อนอันติขนาดนั้น เอ้าแพ้ วิธีลวงโหดจ้า
Down to Jit Boys and Margaret. Cypher versus Cypher.
Okay,
ถ้ามาเป็นอุดุบโกะ
Staking
โอ้โห
halfway. He must have heard it.
oh, he got off.
ก็กูเห็นมันอย่างงี้กูเลยแบบ
Gets off at the right
โอ้
time.
นี่ไง
Jit
เอาออกเหรอ
Boys
แต่นี่มันขาด
corrects his aim at the right moment.
Oh.
Right guy in the right time.
Unfortunate for Margaret at the end there. Quack could have stuck it, but of course he doesn't have
หวานหวานๆกันทั่วหน้าครับวันนี้นะครับ
view.
หวานหวานๆ
I
กัน
think
ทั่วหน้า
the biggest
วันนี้
takeaway in this map
จากกันนะครับก็ใครที่ชอบคลิปนะฝากกดไลค์นะครับกด Subscribe นะครับผมก็จะได้เป็นกำลังใจในการทำคลิปต่อๆไปนะครับขอบคุณมากครับ